We're just normal men.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.
It's time for Side Scrollers with me, Stuttering Craig.
I did. Oh, wow. Right on the tip. Just on the tip.
And Blabs. Co-hosted by our friends from around the internet.
There is a portion of Norway where it is legally required to carry a firearm at all times.
If you're just a normal man looking for common sense in this crazy-ass world, you've come to the right place. And now, broadcasting from our homes from around the internet, it's time for Side Scrollers.
Okay, you ready? Open wide!
Welcome on out to Side Scrollers on YouTube.com and Rumble.com and SideScrollersPodcast.com. What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday to you. Are you having a good day? You are? All right. Hey, I'm Stuttering Craig. Great to see you guys. Man, oh man, we got a good one today. We have phenomenal guests joining us today. But first and foremost, let's introduce the one, the only Guamanian Queen. Hope she has her mic on, ready to roll. Wow.
I do. I was like, wait a second. Is it not on? But it's on. The camera's on and the wallet was on. The microphone was on the entire time. I just read local, so it says wallet. I'm fine.
The whole time.
The whole time.
The camera was on the whole time, huh, Blabs?
The whole time.
It's good.
The whole time.
Are you doing okay? You seem like you're very Harry Pottered out today with your shirt.
Well, I actually got this in Japan, so I figured I'd finally wear it after never wearing it for a whole month.
Oh.
It's really comfy.
All right.
Shout out Japan.
Hey, Japanese goods are hey, you gotta get the American goods.
So much better, guys. I'm just saying, like the quality in Japan, they actually make good shit. Just
Thanks,
saying.
Blabs. Appreciate your.
Bring shit back to America and then we'll talk.
It's on the way. It's on the way.
I hope so. Got that apple?
Yeah, we'll
come back.
Apple's not coming back.
Oh, but I think
not coming back. Apple's not
then
coming back.
fuck them. I don't even buy Apple anymore, so.
Oh man, you know, at least this is right. It says Blabs look like a rugby player over here.
Yeah, I'll fuck you up. My 5'4" less than.
Go get him, Blabs. Let him know. Joining us today, we got a great show. We got a great show for you guys lined up. Joining us today, straight from BigManComics.com, doing his happy dance. It's Gabe. Hello, Gabe. Good to see you.
Young man, there's no need to feel down. I said, young man.
That's right.
Pick yourself up off the ground. Guys, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn my Trump dance. I'm a little, I'm getting there. A little wobbly, but I'm getting there.
I appreciate that that's become a cultural thing now. The idea that it's like people are doing it at the disco. Apparently, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, kids still go to the disco, Grandpa?
Well, I think the disco is just another term for the club. I think
the
disco is a thing in Europe. The club is a thing in the States. At least that's what I understand by media. I don't know.
Were you a club guy in your young days?
No. Do I look like a club guy?
I don't know. I wasn't either.
Scoots, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got my my lights on. I'm going doing my crazy trance lights. That's trance lights. Trance lights. Yeah. God, what was it? They had stupid. I mean, I went to a few clubs just because that's what you do when you're stupid. But what was it? They had the baby nipple things that you put in your mouth. They put the lights on them. You know what I'm talking about? The pacifiers. Yes.
Right.
Oh my gosh, ridiculous.
Also known as a binky.
Oh yes. Thank you, Gabe. Appreciate that. Well, also joining us today will be Superman himself, Dean Cain. He'll be popping in just a little bit.
He just texted me. He'll be here in a few.
Cool, no worries. And you do not want to miss this today. We probably should get a tweet out about this, Blabs, because Sav is back, and Savvy will be joining us coming up in about 53 minutes or so, not to be exact. But Sav has a deep dive, and this deep dive is deep. And if you guys like the autistic deep dives, you're about to be hit in the freaking face with one. So I promise you this. Gather round. It's going to be illuminating. So make sure you guys are here for that. But first, I'd like to remind you guys, once again, we're live over at Rumble. We also have an X account where you could have found that. Gabe and Dean, we're going to be on the show. Also, we got to get a tweet out about Savvy being on the show in just a little bit, which can be great, right, Blabs?
Yeah, I'm typing it out too. You're making me work right now. Trying to fix locals, which I can't get fixed.
Well, then I certainly don't want to tell you about Instagram, because we do have that Instagram account, and of course the Kick account, and of course we have the audio version of on Spotify and Apple Podcast, and anywhere else you have the audio version of the show. Hey, one quick note. There's a speaking of the audio version of the show, I have a goal for us, and this is actually a very, very important goal for us. We had a big win culturally on Tuesday for just eliminating all the nonsense that's happening in society. I think that's a big step culturally, not just politically, but culturally. And people talk about, you see these people who at IGN or whatever, they downplay what people on YouTube do, right? They're so snobby or whatever.
Ugh.
So there's a service called Chartable, and Chartable keeps track of all of the audio podcasts, specifically audio. It doesn't keep track of video, because if it was a video, we would be blasting past all these motherfuckers, right? But since it's audio, our audio version is behind our video, because we are definitely a video podcast. With that said, this service Chartable keeps track of these things. And we pushed it really hard when we first had the audio versions of the show. That service Chartable is going to be shut down on December 6th. I want to be the #1 gaming podcast when that service is shut down, so I can put that on my fucking wall back here and just do giant middle fingers to all these people. So if you guys wouldn't mind, head over and subscribe to the audio version of the podcast. The link is down below. You can find it. It doesn't matter if it's on Spotify or Apple Podcast or whatever. Just go down there and subscribe to it. Give it 5 stars. And I want to get our numbers up, because we're in like the top 100 right now, which is great. At one point, we were up to number 4, but I want to get up to number 1 before we're done. And just as a giant middle finger to everybody, because yes, I am that petty. And yes, I do think that what we're doing is important here. So I'd appreciate that. We also have the Side Scroller Shorts channel, which is fun, because if you like to see things that are totally out of context, you guys can find things over there at the Shorts channel on YouTube. And of course, the Side Scrollers podcast is going to be our home base in 2025. So head on over there, become a member over there. If you really want to support us, you can, which is great. If you are new to us, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button over here on YouTube. Join the 106,650 just normal men who have found common sense in the video game space. Let's do our best to get to 1,337 likes. So there we are. Now, before we get into today in gaming history, Gabe, I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about bigmancomics.com and all the good stuff you guys got going on over there.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. You caught me here. I didn't know we were going to talk about that, but yeah. So I worked at DC Comics, as you guys know, and some of that audience knows forever. They went crazy ass woke. I didn't say anything for a while. Then I left and publicly humiliated them 3 years ago. It was nice. I made international news and went independent. And I've thus that's not in that sentence. And I've made my own comic book company, Big Man Comics, with all my decades of experience working for Marvel and DC and all that. We're making great action and adventure. And you guys hate woke, right? We hate this Veilguard. We hate this Concord. We hate the lesbian space witch Star Wars. I'm giving you back what you loved in the 80s and the 90s, where it was just normal men having thrilling adventures with beautiful women and awful bad guys. And let me can I share my screen with you? Let me
of course.
Oh, you had something. Well, there you go. I don't need to share it. That's what I was going to share. I teamed up with Superman himself, Dean Cain, and we created Dean Cain, All-American Lawman. If you like Mission Impossible, the Tom Cruise stuff, if you love that old Indiana Jones, the good stuff, Romancing the Stone, all that stuff, that's what Dean Cain, All-American Lawman is. It's awesome. We already have volume 1 out. It's a 120-page book. And for a limited time only, we have the Christmas variant cover, only available till November 30th. You can get that. And then once those are gone, they go back in the Disney vault. If you scroll up, who's ever controlling this, you go to the shop. Let's see, go up to campaign there on the top right. Sorry, campaign. If you click that, the Christmas cover's down a little bit. If you scroll, it's right there. Yeah. If you click on that top one on the right, those are super limited edition. They're at a premium for collectors. There's much lower price points for the regular editions. We do have about 200 left. But yeah, that Christmas cover is only available for a few weeks. And then it goes back in the Disney vault. Maybe I'll sell it again next Christmas. I might have a handful at Comic-Con in July. But yeah, I thought that'd be a fun thing to offer. And then we have tons of other books being worked on. I have the Unstoppable Tyrus is like the Incredible Hulk. Empyrean is like a love letter to Star Wars and sci-fi. And that is up to page 120. You know what I mean? So that one is going to be done very soon. Finish up the coloring and lettering. And I'm going to do what Eric July is doing, kind of pre-order crowdfund and get these out every couple months and just get you quality entertainment for normal men. It's really awesome what we're doing. So Big Man Comics, all orders received by November 30th, guaranteed delivery before Christmas. So go get it today, guys. It's really fun stuff.
Love it. All right, great.
Thank you.
Guys, go check out bigmancomics.com. You guys can find the link to that down below.
Oh,
all
can
right,
I ask
Blabs, how
one
we
thing,
doing
Craig?
on local? Yes, of course, Gabe.
Guys, I'm almost to 10,000 YouTube subscribers. Please subscribe. I give 2 recorded videos on a week, one on Tuesday, one on Thursday, called Expert Opinion. Since I've been an award-winning writer and illustrator and colorist for 25 years, I know what I'm talking about when I take down this woke stuff and tell you why your old stuff is better. So I do fun takes on that stuff every Tuesday, every Thursday. Subscribe to my YouTube. It's just my name, Gabe El Taib. So you'll love it there.
His links are in the description below, guys. Is Craig frozen?
He's frozen with awe.
Yeah, hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to fix things over here.
Oh, wait. Anyway, I'm just going
Blabs,
to
Blabs, I'm
get
gonna
into
handle
hard news.
Yeah,
You go away now.
Hold it
Go
down,
away,
Blabs.
Craig. Okay, bye.
No, go to Today in Gaming History.
That's literally what I just said. Okay, anyway, go away, Craig. All right, guys, November 12th is Super Mario Galaxy on the Wii, releasing in 2007. We have Call of Duty Black Ops 2 releasing in 2012. And then, guys, the all totally not exclusive PlayStation 5 releasing 4 years ago today, which is why I asked in the chat if people had the console, I should say. And I'm going to be honest, 63% said no. So I'm not surprised because this console offers nothing exclusive except maybe like 5 games. But Mario Galaxy, guys, 10 on 10. Really fun game, great music. So super nostalgic for that one. Gabe, have you ever played any of these games?
Every time I see Super Mario Galaxy, I feel old and I feel bad. You ever see that I Love Lucy? Blabs, that was a show back.
Yes, I have seen. Listen here, mister. I have seen it. Okay.
You see the one where she's working at the chocolate factory and the chocolates come too fast and she has to,
and she starts eating everything. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel about video games. I have a wife, 2 adult children, a grandchild, and I run my own business and I write and draw comics. I don't have time to play video games, but I really like them. And there's Wii games that I haven't beat. And I still hold on, don't make a Switch, don't make a PlayStation 3 or 4. I have to go beat that's how I feel about video games. They're just piling up.
Wait a second. So a game that came out in 2007, 17 years ago today, and you're like, wait, please don't release anything new from 17 years ago.
Let me catch up. There's too many games.
Wow.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. Hello.
Cool. Excellent.
Yes. So that's how I feel. I loved it. It was a brilliant game, but I never beat it because I'm too busy. So
some noticeable games that you missed today, Blabs, include Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty for the PlayStation 2. For those who are fans of Metal Gear Solid, it's a big one for the PlayStation 2 back in the day. Harvest Moon Animal Parade was released for the Wii 15 years ago.
What the hell is that?
Harvest Moon?
Yeah. Is that like a farming simulator game?
Godfall was released for the PlayStation 5. And Blabs, where's that list again today? Can you pull it up one more time for me, please? Also today, 4 years ago, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales.
No, he's a flying fuck. That's why I didn't put it in.
But I think it's important to talk about.
Oh, look, Miles Morales, totally not Spider-Man. Awesome.
Okay. You got to make sure you mention those things. It's important.
But listen, I had better options, bro.
I know, but that's why I'm mentioning it now. By the
way,
you
said you got to mention these things. Listen. Tomorrow,
someone in the chat wrote the Blabs. Do you know what the Lali Lalo Lou is?
Is that a song?
Come on, Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty.
I've never played it. Sorry.
All right.
Listen, at least I finished Super Mario Galaxy when I was a kid.
You sure did, Blabs.
And I played the second one. And that one you could play with your friend because one of you guys could be a little star. I was the star usually. My sister was
I-
Mario.
I just beat that Echoes of Wisdom, the Zelda, where you actually play Zelda. What a fun little game that was.
Oh
Took
yeah,
me about 2 months to beat it. I played it every once in a while. But it was a
Cool.
real cute little game. I don't know. It's a very easy game. I'm a casual gamer. I'm not great at video games because I don't put the time in. So
Sure. Hear that. Well, John came in with the 5. Says I'm a little salty at Dean because Terry Hatcher on Lois and Clark was my first of earliest crushes. Was one of my earlier crushes. What was it like with Denzel on Out of Time? We'll get to that when Dean shows up. I think everybody probably our age had Terry Hatcher as one of their first crushes for sure. Speedy Cake says, we spoke of Christmas movies yesterday. Now I got to ask, what's your number one hands down favorite Christmas song? As a regular Australian bloke, my vote goes to Kevin Bloody Wilson's Hey Santa, see you next Tuesday.
is that a real song?
I don't know. For me, I love anything by Andy Williams. Andy Williams, the classic, just what a wonderful voice. It's the holiday season. Anybody?
Dun, dun, dun.
I know it.
Yeah, you know that song, don't you?
Everybody knows those. Yeah.
It's the best. Andy Williams.
Dude,
is
I
the
gotta
best.
say, I really like Wham! Last Christmas. But that one's just so.
Okay, so here's the thing, Gabe. I don't know if I can do this with Blabs today. If she's gonna
What?
bust out as Wham.
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 They put the boom boom into her heart.
It was a
Yeah.
great song anyway. But listen, to be completely honest, I don't listen to a whole lot of lyrical Christmas music. If I'm going to listen to Christmas music, it's going to be like the entire soundtrack from Home Alone. John Williams.
That's good.
Or like
Yeah.
the Polar Express. I don't like the Polar Express movie, but the music is fantastic by Alan Silvestri,
I
who also
like,
composed like Back to the Future. And
Silent Night. I
The
learned
Mummy?
to play that on the piano when I was about 6 or 7 years old. So that has a special place in my memory, learning to play Silent Night. So.
Good for you, Gabe. Good
That's
for
Don't
you.
be so condescending, Craig. At least he can play like a piano. What can you do?
Yeah.
The recorder?
Yeah, actually, hold on. I got one
No,
for
Play the
you. Hold on.
kazoo.
Yeah, you want a kazoo? Hold on, I got one for you right here.
No.
Oh,
It's I can play a hot dog. Can you play a hot dog? Can you play a hot dog? Look at the hot
never
dog.
tried. Never tried.
Yeah, he's straight.
There we go. All right. Nice. Jason says, random news. Costco just recalled 80,000 pounds of butter for failure to disclose it contained dairy.
Yes,
Also-
this is real.
Yes. Also, my jar of peanuts warns that it contains peanuts. That's right. This is society today. Society today. I feel like those who buy butter and don't know that there's milk in it probably should just, I don't know, natural selection.
Well,
Sorry about
it's
that.
the same thing as all those ads for milk that says antibiotic free. It literally legally has to be antibiotic free or you can't sell the milk. It gets dumped. So putting the label on there is just for the morons going, oh, I'm buying this one because it's antibiotic free. Like, you're fucking stupid.
Well, yes, of course. Yes.
It reminds me of
No,
that clip from Clerks, Kevin Smith's only good movie, where the guy's holding the coffee says, what do you mean I gotta drink this hot?
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Coffee.
Dogsplain came in and says military service isn't for everyone. Doesn't work out for a lot of those that sign up. Better not miss the two greatest Christmas movies: Mel Gibson and Danny Glover's classic, and Bruce Willis Tower. Hey, good ones right there. Lethal Weapon, and of course Die Hard. Thanks, Dogsplain. You're right. A lot of for military service is not for everybody, but for those who it is, we salute you for sure. By the way, did get the $100 Amazon gift cards to our vets yesterday. So they all have
Awesome.
them, which is great. Love that we did that. John came in and says, the only reason I get to get a PlayStation 5 is for Astrobot and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Well, we're going to have some PS5 news in just a little bit.
Mhm.
Thanks for that, John. Anti-Hero says, hey, guys, upon recent reflection, I realized my radical political and social views are based on James Rolfe taking a dump in Bugs Bunny's face.
Well, he did say he wanted to take us back to the past, and you know what that actually means.
We had a good discussion about that yesterday, Gabe.
In the kitchen, Blabs, Project 2025.
That's
I
right.
made a sandwich
Hey,
this morning.
hey, not too much mayo, just enough, not a little.
You put mayonnaise on. I had mayonnaise on my sandwich this morning too. So like, I'm
Okay.
okay.
All
I
right.
will survive.
Blabs,
It's,
you eat-
yes, sir. When I tell you,
Sir,
right.
sir, Mr. Gabe, I
That's
made an
right.
egg sandwich this morning. I put mayonnaise on
Okay.
my bread.
Okay.
It's not like I
Mayonnaise?
just go and put mayonnaise on a piece of bread and eat it, which I have done. It's fantastic, but there's not really a whole lot of nutritional value in it,
I
so
love
I put it with
mayonnaise.
eggs.
I love it.
appreciate that. A lot of people in the chat are like, I like this Gabe guy now. You like this guy a lot
That's
more.
right.
Put Blabs in her place.
Listen,
Hey,
buddy,
You must be new here because he does that every time he comes.
I am
on the
half
show.
Mexican and half Arab. You think I'm not a machismo guy? I was just waiting for Project 2025.
What's that? Hi, Dean Cain.
Well, hello, Blabs. How you guys
Hello.
doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Little thing here. It doesn't-
Dean, great to see you. How are you today?
Outstanding. Got no complaints at all. Sorry, I'm a little late.
No worries. No worries. Glad you joined us today. We got a lot going on. We were just talking about how Costco has recalled 80,000 pounds of butter because on the packaging it didn't say that it included milk.
Wow, that's effective government. All right. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you know milk and butter are like dairy? I didn't have no idea. Weird.
It's amazing how that works out.
So weird.
Did you know how to make whipped cream? All you do is put it in like a blender thing, and not a blender.
Yeah,
but
you
a
whisk it.
mixer.
Yeah.
Cream. I didn't know that.
It's easy breezy.
It's literally
Called whipped cream. Whipped cream.
yeah, it's in the name. It's kind of like how do you do a push-up? It's
Yeah.
Push
it's
up.
in the name.
It's good. Well, we talked earlier with Gabe about Big Man Comics, so we got all that out of the way, which is good, and we'll definitely give you guys an opportunity to talk about it in a little bit. But Dean, I don't know if you realize this, you're going to go for a ride today, as coming up in about 35 minutes, we're going to be going down a deep rabbit hole, and I'm very excited to hear how you and Gabe react to this. So this is going to be really, really interesting. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. But with that said, we do see all your super chats, all your direct donations, all your Rumble rants, and we'll read every single one of them throughout the show. But before we do, it's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everybody in the world's favorite segment. It's time for Hard News. All right, everybody on this show, I think, is an advocate for the Second Amendment and the 2A community here and firearms and such. I believe that you should absolutely have the opportunity to protect yourself. And we have something from Drama Alert today, which, hey, it's just a great way to start the show. As this guy's driving around in his Lamborghini, and wouldn't you know it, he's being followed around by some ski mask bandits. So what do you think the proper way to respond to that is? Let's start with you, Dean.
How big is your magazine?
Oh, this is going to be a pretty big one. Let's check out.
If the
Let's see what happens.
magazine, has more than 12 rounds. First of all, I like you.
Let's just see what happens
Couple of
here.
Spare magazines. Let's see.
So he's getting followed. He's going to pull in his Lambo to his driveway. These guys block him off here. First thing he does, by the way, red cap, by the way, interesting, runs inside as fast as he possibly can. These guys get out, ready to go. And all of a sudden, whoa, turning around. Why? What's he have? RPG.
He's got an RPG on the shoulder.
Yes.
Oh, really? Is that an RPG?
Yes. And he is squared up.
He's ready to
fire.
go.
So
How did he get it so quickly?
He's
How is
probably
it
like,
waiting nearby?
that's what I was wondering. I feel like he must hide it in a bush in his yard or something. Be like, great, time to use this. Oh,
Jeez.
So the best thing about having an RPG is, and the same reason why you learn karate, or the reason why you have a gun in the first place, self-defense, is so you don't have to use it. As he squares up, he's ready to go, and guess what happens? See ya.
Nah, nah, nah. Wow.
Yep. So fun stuff right at the back. Gabe, do you own an RPG? And if you don't, how quickly will you be getting one?
If it's made legal, I will absolutely love to have one of those. I do. I'm very serious about firearms and the Second Amendment. I was a featured speaker at the Gun Rights Policy Conference in September. It's my badge at San Diego. So I do a lot of speaking for San Diego gun owners and all that. I should go and give speeches about how pop culture wokeism will affect the voting and take away your gun rights. That's a speech I give at a lot of gun conferences. So I'm a huge supporter of the 2A, as is Dean. Dean's involved with some little organization. Aren't you on the board of some gun rights thing?
That I am, good sir. I've been on the board of the NRA for about 6 years, I think.
Right. So
yeah, definitely a big 2A proponent, and I'm a sworn deputy sheriff. And I know, listen, it's great. The police will be there to help you, but not right away.
Right.
That's why we always like to stash a RPG in our bushes, because when you got the right tool for the job, woo.
Dean, legit question. Are you one of the guys who, when you're laying in bed, you have your gun over your, like, have you seen the thing that there was a video going around probably a couple of years ago of the guy who had his gun over his bed, pretty much over his pillows, and he would hit something and the shotgun would fall down into his hands so he can get up and get the intruder. Are you one of those guys?
That's pretty good. I'm not going to answer that question 100%, but I'm going to say, if you break into my house, I'll come out with an RPG.
Okay, sounds
in about
good.
that period of time.
Blabs, chances of you owning an RPG in your lifetime?
Well, here's the thing. I feel like it's a lot heavier than I am, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to pick one up and I have it on my shoulder. Just saying.
I'd
probably like fall over.
gotta be honest.
You'd pay to see that.
Yeah, I think we need to bring you down to a range and find a way to shoot off an RPG or something.
I'm totally
I'm in
down.
Las Vegas. In Vegas, you can pretty much shoot anything.
Yeah, I would never say no. I'm just saying, like, I've never picked one up, so I feel like I'd probably just fall right over. But yeah, I'm down. Just don't be in the vicinity near me, and we're good.
That's right. Just don't point it down directly at your feet, Blabs.
Oh my God, no.
I have a friend. He was in the army in the global war on terror. He served like 7 tours in Afghanistan and Iraq. He said at training, a woman practicing throwing grenades dropped it right at her feet, and the drill instructor, whatever, picked it up and threw it downrange.
Wow.
So, Blabs, you wouldn't do that though, right?
No.
Okay.
All right, well, let's move on
I
to.
know how to handle guns. I've learned. I was taught by a state trooper, actually. So.
Oh wow.
There you go. Love that stuff. Well, let's.
We
move
don't
on.
want to hear the rest of that story.
It sounds like a whirlwind romance.
Whoa.
Not that. It was my friend's older brother. He was a state trooper, and he knew that I wanted to learn how to, like, shoot a rifle. So they taught me everything properly. Yeah.
The older brother.
Yeah.
No, he's married with kids. His wife was there.
Nobody is accusing you of anything, Blabs.
I just can't win.
Well, let's move on from shots to a guy named Nadeshot. Nadeshot. That is his name. This is one of the founders of a gaming brand called 100 Thieves. And this is a pretty prominent gaming brand. It's built around creators. It's like a creator group. And he's the founder of it. He's a big streamer over on Twitch. And this is the dude. He's, just a streamer. He's very successful. So much so that he actually leaked his Twitch revenue on accident. And last month, streaming on Twitch, he made $238,000 streaming on Twitch.
Good for him.
So normal men, we have a goal. I just want to point that out. We have a goal to beat $238,000 next month in December, if possible. That'd be great. And so good for him, I guess. By the way, when you look at this, the breakdown of this is all, the vast majority, the deep purple here is like gifted subs over on the channel. So that's people gifting out subs, and he gets 50% of the $4.99. So, Twitch is making obviously a good chunk of that as well. So $240,000 for a month of streaming on the channel. Gabe, your initial thoughts?
I think it's fantastic. I like you guys. I'm getting paid by Twitter and getting paid by YouTube, and I get a lot of young artists approaching and say, "How do I become a comic book artist or writer or whatever?" And I tell them social media is the first thing you need to grow. Everyone sub to Gabe L-Tabe on YouTube, by the way. Grow your social media. You get a direct audience, direct pipeline to your audience. There's no middleman or anything like that. No gatekeeper. It's a great new world to live in. Look at the election. Trump went to those podcasts. Kamala tried to, have MSNBC stick up for it. It's a new world. Joe Rogan, all this stuff. I think it's fantastic. This guy making all the money on Twitch. That's my goal too, to make as much as I can on YouTube and Twitter. So,
Hardy points out in the chat that Peanut made $800,000. Peanut the squirrel. God rest his soul.
It took his ass out too. He was getting too big.
Make too much money. All of a sudden, have too much influence. Just ready to go. Well, good for Nadeshot for raking it in for $250,000 for a month for hanging out.
That's the thing, though, is like in America, we like to celebrate somebody doing well, and we aspire to be like them.
Hell yeah.
You aspire to do that. So, and there's other countries I've been to that shall remain nameless. I'm just saying that they rip you down as soon as you start getting some level of success because they don't like that. It's that meritocracy thing. So good for. I have no idea what he streams, but well done.
Yep. Good for him.
Gabe can do it.
I agree. I think like no shade. It's just like, damn, damn. I think that's exactly. Congratulations to you. All right, let's go move on to Hollywood. Over here. Sorry. Hey, what do you say? What do you say? What do you say? And let's go. There's a new movie on the way called Wicked. Have you guys heard about this movie at all? That's on the way.
It's the Wizard of Oz, but told in a different way, right?
Yes. It
was a musical, and
it was a musical on Broadway.
Right.
Didn't see that.
Well, there's a guy named Mark Malkin, and apparently he works for Variety. Have you ever crossed paths with this guy, Dean, before?
His name does not sound familiar, but I've obviously spoken to Variety a number of times, so it's possible.
Okay, well, this dude is straight up obsessed with sexuality.
He's very flamboyant.
Every time you see this guy talk, this goes back to first. Let's take us a couple steps back. A couple months ago to September, during the Agatha All Away red carpet, and he was asking questions like this.
It's been described as the gayest Marvel project ever. Do you agree?
I mean, I think it's pretty well. What is the most exciting about it is that that's not exactly what it's about. It's so normalized, but yeah, I definitely.
So he asked a lot about people's sexuality, if you're gay, things like that. Now let's flash forward to Wicked here in the red carpet. So what do you think he's going to ask there? Let's find out.
Something gay.
Let's talk about being queer in America post-election.
Right off the bat. Dean, I see you shaking your head.
Yeah, being queer in America post-election is exactly the same as being queer pre-election. Absolutely nothing will have changed as far as anyone's rights or anything of that nature. So much crazy fear-mongering. Last time they were going to throw all the gays in internment camps and blah, 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 blah. They said the same stuff this time. Never happened. Won't happen. Ridiculous hyperbole.
Let's see how the rest of this goes because we're only 4 seconds in.
Feeling not great.
As a queer woman of color, how are you feeling?
I think I feel how I always felt. And we will.
There's always the qualifiers in there as the queer woman of color, right?
Ooh, yeah.
Gabe, as a straight man of color, how do you feel about this?
I told you before, I am so excited to be an enforcer for Project 2025. Blab, your days of running amok are over. I want
You'll
your
never
driver's
catch me
license.
alive, copper.
Let's continue, see what else happens here. I bet we already know.
We'll survive. We will get through this, even though it's very scary.
Yeah, the movie takes on kind of a whole different, not a whole different, but it's going to resonate differently.
I think so. I think the movie is even more necessary.
There's a storyline in Wicked.
Which is kind of an odd thing to say about Wicked.
Look, Dean has to put eye drops into his eyes because he's just seen such horrible shit.
Dean, you and I are both entertainers. Would you ever want to describe the art that you or I make as necessary?
No.
How about it's just fucking fun and people have a good time? It's necessary. It is necessary that you read Dean Cain, All-American Lawman. It is necessary. Read it now.
Well, wait a minute. Let's not go crazy. It is necessary that you read Dean Cain, All-American Lawman.
Oh, there we go. Look at that right there.
That's
Bingo.
right.
Necessary.
That's right.
However, my eyes burned from listening to that. Does that make sense?
It just is very ironic that Cynthia's wearing like such masculine clothing. Like she's wearing these big boxy sunglasses, really big shirts. Like, what are you trying to prove? Like, look at that. Is she like, oh my God, no, I don't. Yeah.
It looks like a little kid pretending to be their dad. Like,
yes,
gotta
that's
hold
great.
his clothes.
Or like Jim Carrey, the mask. Like, what are you doing?
I see it now.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's where we're at in society, and if you don't like
it's sad that that's the focal point of every question from the gentleman, from the person asking the questions. What does that really have to be the focal point of everything? Is that that's your angle on life constantly? That's pretty. That's pretty shallow, pretty boring. I get bored of these pretty quickly.
Yeah, boring. I think that's the phrase we hear all the time. You're boring.
Someone, I don't want to derail us, but someone said Jim Carrey's name just now. And it got me thinking. 1994, The Mask, Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber. Wow, all in 1 year. Insane.
Wow.
Insane.
Big year.
Big year.
That's 30 years ago, 1994. Just saying.
I was a sophomore in high school. So
I wasn't alive yet.
I was 6 years out of college.
Blabs was not alive.
I was not alive yet. I was -2.
Yikes.
Poor Dean, I'm sorry.
Well, I've said this. I do think Wicked is going to be a very successful movie.
It looks good. I mean, the previews look good. I didn't see any gayness in it, but maybe that's just me.
Well,
they'll probably try to hint that Glinda and Elphaba have some lesbian shit going on.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because let's listen to the rest of this.
Oh no, I didn't actually listen to this.
That is so wonderful.
And I think people are going to walk out floating.
You've got this bright young woman who has been on the outside, but she's got all the talent.
And also, I think, inspired to defy the things that threaten to pull them down.
Then comes this other little girl who tells a little lie because she knows all about being popular, but it's lie enough for everybody to turn against the good little green girl who's got the talent, who's saying, wait, let's defy gravity. And they ignore her, they shun her, and the girl that told the lie becomes popular. She knows about popular. It's an interesting story that could be told right now.
Interesting story that could be told right now.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
She literally just quoted a whole bunch of songs from the musical. That's what she did.
Well, I mean, that's where we're at with society. Is everything needs to take place. It seems like it's a metaphor for other things. Well, she's green in the movie, but what's stopping her from being another color? That's being held down or whatever.
Green is the new black.
Right.
That's right. There we go. All right, let's keep on moving on. Hey, I know you guys are not really in the video game space, but we've seen a lot of people truly melt down over the last week or so since the election has taken place, both inside the gaming space, but especially in the gaming space. And a lot of these people have left from Twitter. They're now moving on to this app called Blue Sky. And Blue Sky is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Blue Sky. But I
was heard of Blue Chew. Is it the same thing?
No, this is much different.
Okay.
But Blue Sky is from what I understand, it's the app that the people who got paid out by Elon Musk went out and they developed essentially Twitter and made it called Blue Sky. It looks and functions the exact same way. It's just for a certain ideology, right? So there's a satire magazine in the gaming space called Hard Drive. And Matt Fresh is the editor over there. And he posted this over on X, just simply Indiana Jones punching some Nazis along the way. And hey, on the surface, okay, that's fine. But he also posted, and this is Grumps. He's a nice consolidator of information. He says, I've been made aware that Gamergate losers have seen my post here and shared it with Grumps on Twitter. So hopefully they see this as well and share it with them. You are worthless human beings. You don't have lives worth living. You are in fact Nazis and should kill yourself. And this is a sentiment shared by many people that have hence left and gone to Blue Sky along the way. Have you guys seen this type of reaction in your industries?
Well, I have. I worked in the mainstream comic book industry forever, and I've worked with hundreds of artists and writers, illustrators, colorists, and I see some that are ideologically captured, just brainwashed by MSNBC, and how could people vote for someone who supports Trump? Trump, he supports Nazis and this and that, and I find it fascinating that they're still asleep after everything we've seen for the last 8-10 years. That it's just brainwashing from the media. But I don't care. I think Trump's landslide electoral college and popular vote victory, we're in a new time. Woke is dead. We won. Call us whatever you want. Call me any kind of bigot you want. Don't care. You don't scare me. You're not going to stop me from making money and living an amazing life. Do it. Stomp your feet and cry more.
Yeah, it looks that way. It looks like a lot of big overreactions. You know, I've really enjoyed the mainstream media over the last week. I haven't even been able to catch all the way up with it because there's so many meltdowns of people saying the most crazy things. You couldn't vote for Kamala, not because she was a terrible candidate and didn't get a single primary vote, but because she's a woman and she's black. That's a problem for you. And I'm like, that just doesn't make sense. Her policies were more than lacking. And I just have to talk all the time common sense to folks in my industry. But, you know, there's a very quiet, and you can tell from the election itself, majority rather, the loud majority now, who has spoken, who was sick of this woke baloney and are all about meritocracy. And this group that's gotten together is a unity government. You know, when you get RFK Jr. and you get Elon Musk and you get all these folks who used to be Democrats, even Donald Trump himself, who have seen the light, I think it's wonderful. And I think people are going to be just fine. Have your meltdown. And don't like the orange man, but as soon as things change, you've already seen what's happening. I mean, things are changing rapidly and way for the better. So I think the proof's in the pudding. They're going to hate Trump regardless. It's Trump derangement syndrome, you know. And I try to listen to people, but I have a hard time engaging anybody in policy questions. They just say he's terrible. He's a convicted felon. Well, yes, but not really. Because all of those cases are going to go bye-bye, and it's lawfare, and it's ridiculous. And so if they have that problem, and it won't last long. Let me just say that. The shock and the outrage will be over in about 2 weeks.
I do wonder, though, like you'll have people. I saw a comic book artist who was also a veteran, but he's a leftist, and he said, I'm not a sucker or loser, Trump. You're a sucker and loser, because that thing where he said soldiers were suckers and losers. And I just really, not being antagonistic, I would want to ask you, why would you believe that? If someone told me Kamala Harris said that soldiers are idiots and losers, I wouldn't believe that either. Like, that sounds like propaganda to make me hate her. Like, it's obvious that isn't true when an anonymous source says something terrible. I just want to know why they believe that stuff. It's so weird to me.
I heard someone say that Lebanese Mexicans are awful. Arab Mexicans are really terrible people, but I don't believe that to be true.
Right. Who would believe such a thing?
Nobody that I know.
Right.
It's crazy. Nope. It's almost like they're extremely informed people who want to call everybody idiots. Well, it's been interesting to see the meltdown, and it continues obviously in the gaming space, and will continue in the gaming space, as it is definitely one of the most ideologically captured industries possibly ever. But we'll continue. Speaking of ideologically captured, let's talk about this game called Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Now, Gabe, you know, you're familiar.
I know all about this. I love this.
Okay. Now, Dean, you probably are not familiar with Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Okay.
My son's a big gamer, so I've heard of a lot of things, but not this one.
So Dragon Age is a very big series that is produced by a company, EA, and BioWare is the developer. Okay. And they released a new game recently called The Veilguard, Dragon Age: The Veilguard. And upon release, it was really uncertain how the game would be met with receptions. Now, leading up to this, we learned all sorts of things about this game, including it has an incredible character creator. And in that character creator, you can do all sorts of crazy things, including add trans scars to your chest.
Yes.
Keeping in mind that this game is a game that takes place in a fantasy world.
Is it a role play media, multimedia role playing?
Yeah. It's like a big, it's a self-insert if you want. You can go in and play it as you see. Now it is there's different branching paths in the games with stories and such. And there's also various storylines and points in the game where you're actually dressed down and told what a bigot you are if you don't properly use proper pronouns along the way. This fun. Is something. It's really enjoyable. It's a great experience, and it makes you feel really engaged. What's that?
It's like being on The View.
Right. I would not know from experience, but I would love to see you on The View. Oh my gosh,
been on it. They go on all the time.
Oh, did they?
Not all political. Yeah, they haven't invited me on lately.
Oh, really? It's odd. Say hi to Joy for us next time you're on. It'll be great.
Give her a big hug.
That's right. It'd be really, really great.
Wow.
There you go. Thanks, Blabs. I was looking for that. With that said, this game was released, and the media immediately started shilling for the game. This game is great. This game is outstanding. So much so that IGN, who is one of the larger outlets in the gaming space, gave it a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
And that's a really great score. An editor's choice along the way. Now, this review was done by Leana Hafer. So keep that in mind. And I just wanted to kind of point this out based off the things that we've talked about here along the way. The inclusion of trans scars and the pronouns and stuff. So Leana is the person who did this review. I just want to take about 8 seconds and listen to the first part of Leana's review.
As I excitedly slashed, blasted, woo.
Dean, is that not what you expected to hear from Leana?
Does Leana have a cold or something?
No, Leana has a cock.
No. How you doing?
Yeah, let me put some eye drops back in because of my ears. Okay, interesting. I think Leana's going to love this game.
Well, Leana did, and Leana felt extremely represented in this game along the way. But now, as the game has started to change and things are starting to shift a little bit, the current player base on the game has it has not performed very well along the way.
Oh no!
Well, as more background here, the previous Dragon Age game sold over 10 million copies, and that's spectacular. Did great. This game, according to stats and data that we've gathered through Steam and various other platforms, has sold just over 500,000 copies. So about 5% of what the initial the previous game sold.
Can I quote a famous American philosopher?
Sure.
Everything woke turns to shit. That was my best, Gabe. That's the best I can.
There you go.
Gabe, do you want to replicate that? I feel like you
he does it.
Everything woke turns to shit. See, I didn't do it good either. Matthew Marsden destroys it. He's so good at his Trump, dude.
Blabs, you want to try?
Come on.
Everything woke turns to shit.
Why sound like a drunk old uncle right there?
Let me tell you something right now.
Oh my god. Well, the game is not performed very well.
Wait, why not?
Well, I think it's because all the bigots online. That's why.
I hope you have photos from the character creator that Az made. I hope you have those.
Speaking of Az, we'll be bringing them up. Blab, see if you can find some of the character creation online, some of those photos. But you can see right now there's about 30,000 people playing it, which, on the surface you go, well, that's a lot of people playing it. But in comparison to where it was previously, a lot of, I personally thought it would cap out at about 150,000 people playing it. Its all-time peak, 89,000. Any way you slice it, this game is not performing well. So let's bring it back to IGN for a second, as IGN has now come back and released a new article saying Dragon Age the Veilguard is at a war with itself, more or less panning the game now after they gave it a 9 out of 10. So as the opinion of the gamer has changed and the sales have changed, so has the mainstream media outlet along the way. I feel like this is a pretty normal thing for traditional access media, both in the gaming space and across the board. They kind of feel where the wind blows, and then that's where they go along the way. Is that something that you've seen?
For an election.
Right. It's amazing how that works out.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Oh, this is what we should have done." Meanwhile, Gabe and I are Nazis and racists and phobes and transphobes. I've never been afraid of a trans person. I don't understand that, but or a homosexual person. They haven't feared one guy, whatever. I was in prison. It was a whole story. I was the only guy I was scared of, but you would be too.
Blabs, I grabbed a couple of them and they're pretty hilarious. If you want to share my screen, that could help if you haven't.
Oh, I didn't know what you were talking about.
I got it.
So, Dean, you can create your own character custom from head to toe. What do you want to be? This guy? Doesn't he look exciting and heroic?
He's got some horns. All right. Doesn't look happy.
He looks like his mom complains about who he dates, and then he has to break up with her.
Well, because she had to give birth with those horns. You know what I'm saying?
What about this? You want to play as this?
I think I know that guy. Looks a little like Lex Luthor to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see any of the trans scars though, or do I?
You can. This doesn't have it. This one doesn't.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm guessing that's a male ram of some sort.
Something.
Well, we also have this guy as well. No, I'm just kidding. That's from
Yeah,
the
I
Olympics.
saw him at the. I really enjoyed him at the Paris Olympics. That was
That's
great.
right. That's right. Blabs, did you find any other ones as well?
Well, I mean, we have all these here. So this is your trans scar right there on the right. So this is what they look like, which is, beautiful. He looks like he belongs in something of Shrek. I'm just saying with that jawline. But yeah, that is what they look like. It's not very good. Shit characters.
Well, speaking of Az and his character creation, he came in with a quote tweet on this, and I think he really nails it. It says, "You gave it a 9 out of 10. You also said if this is the final game because you knew you lied about your score because you're cowards. You're not trying to change the narrative you created. You're the reason so many people have turned their backs on mainstream media. You are fake." And I think he nails it right on the head right there along the way. Because that's the way it goes.
That authenticity thing, you can't go on Joe Rogan for 3 hours and not be authentic. We saw someone go on Joe Rogan for 3 hours and was very authentic. You go, hey, wow, seems like a pretty nice guy. That's didn't seem like a Nazi at all. Then we didn't see someone else go on because they can't be authentic because they were completely created in a lab somewhere. Gabe, write this down. There's a great plot. Created in the labs and a petri dish. No, they were. I mean, it was all manufactured. There was nothing that was that felt organic or real in that campaign. I mean, listen, I was raised a middle class kid. Okay?
Oh, good for you.
And I was raised in a trailer park. To be honest, I know it's obvious. Of course, it was in Malibu, and they're worth like $1 million now each trailer. But I was Kamal and I. I'm not going to keep on that. I'll leave it alone. I'll stop kicking the dead horse. I don't mean anything by that, by the way. Don't read into it.
Oh,
wow. Yeah, people on X are going to go crazy for that one right there. You called Kamala Harris a horse.
I did nothing of the sort. It was an impression.
There's so many things you can reply with that one about her being a horse, but it's fine. Let's move on.
That's fine. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's go move on. Guys, coming up in just about 10 minutes, Savvy will be joining us, and Savvy has an incredible deep dive. We're going to go down the deep dive wormhole. She's done all sorts of incredible research, and I cannot wait to see how Gabe and Dean react to this. As we talked about the insanity that's happening in the space, Savvy has done all the research, and she is here to plow right into it, if you will. But first, let's talk about Ubisoft. So Ubisoft is a huge company in the gaming space, but it's been obviously, Dean, when you talk about Ubisoft, it is kind of like ground zero for games that have failed because of injection of DEI and wokeness in their games. They had...
Well, it's in the name. Think about it.
yeah, DEI, yeah.
Thank you for the smile, Blabs. Thanks for the little tiny smile. I saw it.
It's tough. She's a tough nut to crack.
Listen, if she gets a little giggle, I've got a victory. Game's easy.
Yeah.
But
Project 2025, Blabs, you will laugh when I allow it. So the smile's fine. I'll allow
Yes,
it.
sir.
That's right.
Well, Ubisoft has had 4 major flops this year. They had their first quadruple A game, not just triple A, but quadruple A games. A game called Skull and Bones, which was quickly shelved. A free-to-play game that was supposed to compete with Call of Duty called X Defiant, which was also just rejected to half court Dikembe Mutombo style. They also released Star Wars Outlaws, which drastically underperformed. And the new Assassin's Creed game was in such a bad place, they had to boot it until next year to release it in February. So they've taken L after L after L after all these games have been injected with a bunch of nonsense. And just really their company as a whole is not in a very good place. They also shut down a game called The Crew. And this is a noticeable story mainly because this has to do with, it's bigger than video games, and it has to do with digital goods. And we could apply this to movies or any other digital item that you, quote unquote, purchase along the way. But Ubisoft is currently being sued for shutting down The Crew as a service. So this is as the article says, this is the difference between buying and licensing games along the way. So 2 California gamers are suing Ubisoft in a proposed class action lawsuit over the developer and publisher recently shutting down the racing game The Crew. And Ubisoft released The Crew in December of 2014 and shut it down after a decade due to server infrastructure and licensing constraints. After the server shut down, the game being totally unplayable due to its lack of a single-player offline mode. So there was no way to play the game at all. So you bought the game, and now you no longer have an opportunity to play it. It says Ubisoft recently, they did offer refunds for people who recently, quote unquote, recently purchased The Crew. But those who had the game previously had no such luck. The logic here is that they said, imagine if you buy a pinball machine and years later you enter your den to go play it, and only to discover that the paddles are missing, the pinball and the bumpers are gone, and the monitor that proudly displayed your unassailable high score has been removed. Turns out the pinball manufacturer decided to come into your home, gut the insides of the pinball machine, and remove your ability to play the game that you bought and thought you owned. So that's pretty much the gist of it. It's digital versus physical. Gabe, I would love to hear your thoughts on this, as I'm sure you sell. Do you sell digital copies of your comics, or is it?
I don't yet, because I don't want to help pirates make digital copies of comics, because that is actually a problem. I know they scan them and make them anyway, but I'm not going to put out high-res stuff. I think when years go by, and then some of my comics are 5-10 years old, then it'd be fine to put digital copies out. That said, I'm in the position, my business, thank God, it's done very well. We have some great books in production right now. We're in a great position financially and business-wise. But I am of the mindset, because I grew up with entrepreneurs. My grandpa owned a restaurant. My dad's an entrepreneur. My uncle was a lawyer. I've always seen the customer is king. The customer is everything. And I think these companies get so big, and the people there I saw it, inside Warner Brothers, little people get a giant ego, and we're Warner Brothers. We're bigger than the fans and the customers. And you build your company one customer at a time, and you will destroy it one customer at a time. And this whole snobbery and talking down to customers and treating them, taking them for granted, taking their money for granted. Okay, do it and see what happens. Anyone can go out of business. The biggest things in the world, Montgomery Ward and Sears and all that, they were the biggest thing at one point, and now they're gone. They evaporate because they don't keep up. They don't treat customers right. They don't stick with the times. And I do think that's what goes on with these giant entertainment companies. They get very snobby and weird, and they don't realize you got to treat it like a mom and pop, no matter how big you get. The customer's the king. That's what I do at Big Man Comics. Customer's always right, no matter what. So,
are you talking about this, or are you talking about the election? See it?
Oh, a little bit of both. A little bit of both.
See what you did there. I like it.
Right.
Well, the response to this, though, I think the general sentiment is that people hope that these people win, that are filing the lawsuit.
Damn right.
Just from a consumer rights perspective. And we saw earlier this year, California, of all places, actually did something right as far as making sure that if you quote unquote buy a digital item, you're not technically buying it from a digital storefront, specifically when it comes to gaming and the giant platform Steam, where a lot of people buy their digital games. And now has a disclaimer saying you don't technically own the game. It's
Right.
more like a service along the way.
Yeah,
So
I'm all for that. I ship out these comics, the Dean Cain books and my other comics. Someone will email me and say, hey, mine showed up bent or damaged. I put a new one in the mail that afternoon. You have to treat the customers right. I get to stay home and draw and write for a living, dude. I'm not going to screw that up. The customers are so good to us. I don't get it. I don't get why customers mistreat fans. I have no idea.
Dean, in your industry, digital is obviously became paramount over the last few years, because the days of a DVD or a Blu-ray are kind of obsolete at this point. Everything's digital through Netflix, Prime, whatever digital service that you want to see, all through apps or whatever. Do you think we'll see a day? We saw recently Alien Romulus release. I don't know if you saw this, a VHS version of the movie.
That's awesome.
Do you think we'll see a day where digital is kind of put to the back burner, or will physical be a novelty from here on out?
I think it'll be like vinyl in a sense, that there are people who really always want to, we just put a new DVD player here in my house, Blu-ray, because I have a ton of old DVDs. Plus, and this is the same, this goes with Twitch and streaming and all these things and all the stuff you have downloaded and digitized and blah, 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 blah. It can go poof, just like a universal digital currency can go poof in a heartbeat. And there's something about having the physical item that, when everything goes down, unless it's Starlink, which we have as backup here as well. Thank you, Elon. Well, we paid for it. I mean, thank you for developing it. But we use it as a backup here. I mean, so things in the digital world that are not tactile, that you can't catch and feel, excuse me, like this frog in my throat. There's going to be a point in time, whether it's an EMP or hackers or whatever happens, you won't be able to stream it, or I think that we're in the long run for that. It's going to be around forever now, but there will be problems along the way, and there will be the people who like to have their DVDs and Blu-rays, just like there are a lot of people who like to have their vinyl now.
Yeah.
When you go to like a Comic-Con or any sort of meetup like that, do people do you sign a lot of like Lois and Clark or DVDs or anything like that?
I don't know. I send a digital version of myself. So I signed, I'd probably say 80%, 75% of the people who come up are somewhat Superman fans, and they get maybe it's 80%, but it's a lot. And that's great. And I love it. I still embrace having played the character, and it's wonderful. I look back at it now. I think the show holds up real well. And it's just fun. So I get a lot of people talk about that still. And it's one of those things. I love that it's out there streaming too, because you get a whole new generation of kids to watch the show, or young people to watch the show. And they're like, wow, this is interesting. I didn't know anything about it. My parents grew up on this and said I'd like it, and I do. And it's really nice to hear stuff like that.
I thought it was fascinating when you told me you wrote some episodes of Superman, and they would tell you how many special effects you had for the budget or whatever. Like, oh, he could do his fast spin or whatever and move. Like, we got 3 of those or whatever. I didn't know it was like that. It's fascinating.
Oh yeah, well, especially back then when it was a lot more expensive to do digital effects, you could have 3 blurs, and you could have this number. So one episode I did had all kinds of stunts in it. And it was stunt heavy because we had been lowering the bar as far as the number. So I sort of just grabbed them all together and put them all in one episode. And it was actually a fun episode. I enjoyed it, but a little more.
Nice. Well, great stuff. Anyways, the idea of physical versus digital will always be an ongoing conversation, as I think from a consumer standpoint or a customer standpoint, the physical will always reign king for sure for a lot of folks. So.
Can I just say, I hate digital because it feels like they have too much control. I have the NFL app. I could watch games on my phone and my iPad. I try to stream it to my big TV in my living room from my iPad, and it blocks the image. It won't do it. I want to ask the NFL, why do you care if I'm looking at my phone or if I'm looking 5 feet away I'll still see the Dorito commercial that you sold. I don't even, that makes no sense to me. But
I'm guessing it's
control digital gives. What now?
I'm guessing it's audience. Like you could, take it and stick it in your bar. And,
I don't know. It's just, just let me watch the game in my house, please.
I just want to watch some football, preferably Buffalo Bills football.
No, you want to watch the Denver Broncos beat the Chiefs for 59 minutes and 59 seconds, and then have the winning kick blocked. Oh my God,
that was horrible.
All right. Let's go ahead and move on and bring in the ridiculous Madam Savvy. Savvy, how are you today?
Hello, everybody. I'm doing good. How's everyone?
Doing well. All right. So, Dean, Gabe, this is Sav.
Hi, Sav.
Sav is known for her autistic research in the best way possible. And Sav has promised that she has a rabbit hole to go down today, and I am very excited to learn about this. So, Sav, why don't you give us a brief overview of what we can expect here and the deep dive we're about to go on. Should we all get our swimsuits on and be ready to dive into the deep end, or what?
You are going to need your water wings and your snorkel and all your safety equipment, because it's a doozy today. And it's going to actually loop back all the way to Sweet Baby Inc.
Okay. So before we get there, I think it's important. Dean, are you familiar with Sweet Baby Inc.?
No.
Okay. So in the video game space, there's been a lot of diversity, equity, inclusion just rammed into games.
Diversity, inclusion, and equity.
Not for die.
That's a better acronym.
Yes. Well, this is kind of the company that people look to when they see A lot of their favorite games have this stuff injected into it. It's a consultancy company that has been the center of a lot of the conversation around this. Now, they're not the only company that does this, but they are hired by larger companies as people who do story, and then ultimately they inject things into your favorite franchises. They did this with Spider-Man. They did this with other various prominent game IPs. And they've also done this with original IPs, and pretty much every game that they've touched has fallen on its face, like horribly, but they continue to get work along the way. So that's pretty much what you need to know. They're like ground zero as far as diversity, equity, inclusion in the video game space from a consultancy standpoint. So with that said, Savvy, the floor is yours.
So I've made a convenient, wonderful map for everyone to follow along with here, just to make sure. Yeah, okay, this is the right one. So we're going to start with this tweet. We're going to break down each layer of this, and then our core focus is actually going to be down here where you see these two arrows. So keep Barclays in mind for just 1 second. We're going to break down Cynthia first. If I'm mispronouncing her name, I apologize. It's not my intention. So she did a talk hosted by Barclays, and she is a diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant for Code Coven. If we come all the way over here very briefly, here we see some cross-references for Outmaking Games, which was also on that chart. She's got me blocked, but she is a DEI freelance consultant. And she created a little group called Code Coven. This is the first award-winning classroom for gender marginalized game developers. We support trans and cis women, trans men, non-binary, and gender non-conforming individuals. Cynthia here calls it, "It's live. I'm so excited to create accountability for studios. I genuinely believe that this can make a big difference for everyone in the industry." She also comes over here.
So Sav, this is a company that, can we go back to the right there, please? This Code Coven right here.
Coven.
Coven, the first award-winning classroom for gender marginalized game developers.
But then they say women, cis women. I didn't know we were marginalized.
The reason why gender marginalized is used is because if we come over here, an alternative, much more inclusive term, marginalized genders. This includes women, non-binary folks, all trans folks. Trans men are men, and they are still marginalized. So men are marginalized.
Okay.
Everyone else in the wide spectrum of gender. Intersectionality is key. On intersectionality, let's remember that a lot of these panels and speakers were also white. And that representation of race and ethnicity in the industry is a big problem. We can solve more than one problem at a time.
Okay. So she founded this group here.
Yeah. And so they partnered with Code Coven is excited to announce our studio accreditation Evolve in partnership with GI Biz, and that's game industry. So they have a lot of followers here. They are the world's leading games industry website. But I don't just like tweets. I like to go to websites. So what on earth is Code Coven? Code Coven is the first global accelerator and academy dedicated to forwarding opportunities for marginalized game developers at all levels. So this is another consultancy agency among the many, many, many that we have seen pop up since 2018. And basically their mission is just like everybody else's. Somehow they have this connection based off of her social connections. And supposedly they've worked with Netflix, Epix, Unity, Wings, Riot Games. They could have worked on ancillary games, but of course they're only going to list the entirety of the studio.
Excuse me. I believe you. I just like, my mind is unwilling to accept this is real. I know you're not lying. I know you're not making this up. I cannot believe what you're saying and I'm looking at.
Oh, don't worry. It gets worse.
Sanity. And by the way, Coven, they're Satanists. Let's not mince words here. They're way into witches. They're absolutely into witchcraft and Satanism.
Yeah, so all of the words are intentional here. Obviously, she's got a bit of a theme going on. This just talks a little bit about them, their background. So it's done with one other individual. Julie Yang is a director of people and culture. This is the first step towards creating real accountability in the industry. I genuinely believe that with studios on board, we can make a real change within the space. Keep in mind what Cynthia here said was the problem. Over here, they just list a couple of their statements here, and then, of course, their programs and all of that. So I wanted to get her out of the way to break that down. Again, keep Barclays in the back of your mind here.
Barclays
So-
is a big company, by the way.
Yes.
Barclays is a very big company.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she was on this 2022 Games Industry State of Play game speaker frenzy thing. I guess this
Got
was
it.
some sort of event, some panel or whatever. So this is normal. They all talk on panels together, right? This shows how they kind of connect outside of Twitter. But
Gabe, are you putting on a mask right now, or are you?
I just put in eye drops. I'm
Okay.
just looking at this.
Why
couldn't these
here, let's
people's
actually
fathers just love them? Why couldn't their dads just love them? These people.
That's a great question.
It's sad. So if we're going to jump into Barclays here, let me get them out of the way. So like he said, Barclays is a big company. They're basically Games and Creative Eagle Labs. They're a support structure for UK games and creative businesses. So most of my research is focused on America and Canada over the past few months. This board specifically tackles the UK. I am not going to talk about tax laws yet. That will happen much later, not today. But so this is, again, just a breakdown for anybody who doesn't know. So they connect developers together. They work on collaborating. They promote DEI. They share things between all of the different developers. They have tools, all of that stuff, right? So Barclays is, here's the people behind it. We've got John, Elaine, and Jamie. They're not, this isn't too particularly interesting here, but this was just a brief introduction into Barclays. Again, keep them in your mind for just 1 second here. So who are the other two people on this? So we have James Dodd, Out Making Games. He's representing Out Making Games, which is a UK LGBT group. And then the other individual, Dr. Joe Twist, is the CEO of UKIE, UKIE. That's going to be very important, and we're going to break that down last. Let's jump into James Dodd first. So James Dodd over here, he works for a company called Martin Tripp Associates. Martin Tripp Associates is a C-suite level, basically executive search tool. They install individuals into various companies at the power position level. They go across all of media for this. They are not just into games. They are into TV. They are into movies. They've got some other things as well, but they do focus on games. If you'll notice here on their DEI page, they have this quote here: monocultures solve problems the same way, continue to give the same answers, and are slow to change. Diverse organizations are nimble, think differently, and are more interesting places to be.
I got a question. I got a question about that statement. Is there any data to back that up?
No.
Like at all?
No, actually, it's the alternative. All of the greatest advancements in history have come from monocultures. It's the cohesion
respect
of
and can
culture
trust
that
each
allows
other
for
get
the
things
flourishing
done.
of ideas.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
Sorry. So down here now, this is my favorite line that they have that's ever been put on any of these websites. Too many people recruit people they know or people who are like them, and too many recruiters rely on their little black book of contacts. At MTA, we have long believed that this leads to a diminishing gene pool, which ultimately stymies innovation and growth. And then they go on to say that they've got a 50-50 gender balance in the company. A third of the team is from minority ethnic backgrounds, and 20% are LGBTQ.
Anyway, and by the way, this guy's a white dude?
Yes, he's
Okay.
a white man, I'm assuming. Now, this quote appears.
You broke Dean's internet connection.
Dean is broken.
Oh,
Oh, no.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. He'll catch up. Go ahead. Keep going,
Okay.
Seth.
So the reason why I want to highlight that quote specifically on that website is because the quote exists elsewhere. It was put on Raise the Game. So Raise the Game is a pledge website that was created by UKIE, the UKIE that I mentioned earlier with the CEO who did the talk. That exact quote comes over here, and it's attributed to James Dodd. He liked the quote so much, it was used elsewhere. Now, why is this a funny thing? Well, that's because James Dodd is also on the UKIE DEI committee.
Of course he is.
So, James Dodd helps install C-suite level individuals and executives into companies, but he's also part of OMG. And then he's the director of OMG. And then he's also the UKIE DEI guy. Why is that important? Before we jump into that, we're going to go break down OMG.
We told you it was going to be a deep dive today, folks. Let's go.
Could you imagine, and I don't endorse infidelity, could you imagine trying to cheat on Savvy? Dead. Just you dead. You might...
Yes, she would know.
It's kind of impossible. So what is OMG? OMG has quite a few interesting social connections here. But
Oh my God.
James Dodd likes to put his quotes on websites. So here he is, James Dodd, OMG, quoting himself, by empowering and uniting the community, we can act as one voice to push for real change in the broader game industry across Europe and the UK. Our mission at OMG is a nonprofit organization empowering LGBTQ professionals within the game industry. We strive to create a more inclusive and diverse gaming landscape through programs, partnerships, events, education, and advocacy. Wow, it sounds a lot like things we've already talked about.
It's
Fostering
almost
a community where everyone's identity is celebrated and their contributions are valid. Blah, blah, blah.
It's almost, Sav, like it's all that this person has in their life. It's almost like it's a giant grift that is their entire industry.
Well,
Right.
speaking of
I
grift,
read online, and this is alleged, that there were like mafioso style, like, hey, you don't put some diversity in your games. It'd be a shame if it got bad reviews and people called you all bigots. Didn't that happen to one of the Asian companies? Like,
it's
I don't know if it
rumored
was
to have
the Wu-
happened. Yeah.
the
That was the
Wukong
Wukong.
people.
Yep.
Yeah, and they got all called set because they wouldn't hire the DEI advisors to ruin their project.
It's funny that you say that because it's actually not far from what's happening, but just in a slightly different way. So OMG here, they list their supporters on their website and they have several tiers. If you'll notice here, additional support, which means financially supporting, is Barclays. Where did we see Barclays? Oh yeah, they hosted a podcast. They hosted a podcast with random individual and James Dodd, who is the guy on Out Making Games, but then also on the board of Uki. So Barclays was able to provide financial support for them, and then they in turn got them, the CEO of Uki as well, to go on this little talk thing, because it sounds way more impressive to have a CEO of something, especially when you find out what that something is. So they have some interesting social connections here, but one of the ones that I do want to point out, just because we have a big fan of the individual that this leads to on the panel, so they have a big promotion with Mermaid Gender. Mermaid's Gender is a big UK initiative that's actually been around for a while that focuses on transing kids. And that's not hyperbole. That's their own wording.
You guys can I interrupt? Sorry, I know I keep interrupting, but you're all younger than Dean and I. I'm 46. Dean, you're about 9-10 years older.
47.
Okay. I don't think you understand what this sounds like to Dean and I growing up in like 70s and 80s and all that. Okay, sorry. I can see Dean's face, and I commend him for getting through this.
It's exhausting. Now, Sav, before you continue, I do want to point this out. This is the infamous clip that you're talking about, Gabe, as far as the threats. So take a listen.
Okay, okay. I knew this.
So Dean, this is the CEO of Sweet Baby Inc.
If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years, put this stuff up to your higher ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for, when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
So there's that.
The reason why that clip too is important is it's not the only one. One time you can sell it off as a joke. Twice it becomes a pattern. She's actually on record saying it 3 different ways at 3 different events. So this is something that they absolutely abide by. It's not just hyperbole for them. But don't worry, we'll get to how it connects to them as well. And it's kind of freaky. But I do want to highlight this Mermaid's Gender thing. And the other part of this is BAFTA Games. BAFTA Games connects to BAFTA. And that also has another connection elsewhere, which we'll circle back to. But so BAFTA Games is out here promoting Mermaids. Mermaids has been supporting transgender, non-binary, and gender diverse children, young people, and their families since 1995.
So, by the way, BAFTA is the British Academy of Film and Television Arts.
They also have a game division, which I just discovered. So here also, Out Making Games also promoted Eurogamer. The Eurogamer team is playing Witchy Life Story in aid of mermaid gamers. So now we have a connection all the way to Eurogamer here. So if we jump down, where are they? Here we go. If we jump down here to Mermaids real quick. So they were promoting their TikTok, stay up to date with us, blah, blah, blah. But the reason why they're important is because J.K. Rowling actively calls them out regularly, routinely,
Glad you're
constantly.
shaking your head.
As early as the 24th of October. So she's constantly screen capping them, showing them data where they're wrong. She's been beefing with them for a while. You're free to read this stuff. You can go find it. The CEO of Mermaids Gender is constantly on TV trying to promote their agenda and all of this stuff. I don't want to get too deep into them because their focus isn't necessarily games, but the connection was just fascinating.
Okay.
To have these people tie into games. There is a post up here that they also tie into. So this Creative Assembly, this is a Pride Month celebration thing. They basically created a chart of LGBT related organizations. And so Safe in Our World is one of the top ones here. Keep that in mind. There's a connection there. Here's the Mermaids thing. Gaming Magazine, which was just exposed recently for selling positive press. Out Making Games, which is what we're breaking down. Pixels, Uki, which is what we're also breaking down. And then some others that they do the exact same thing of what I'm already mentioning. Right. So if we come, oh boy. All right.
So these people make everything except for entertainment.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
It's like a restaurant that just doesn't make food.
Exactly. So we have
you have to dress a certain way and be a certain way.
Correct.
You sit at the table and they just lecture you about what a bigot you are, and then you leave. That's this restaurant.
They get paid to lecture people, which is what they want.
Holy
so
shit.
The reason why Safe in Our World is interesting. So if I come down here, they're also listed as a partnership organization. But here's one. So this is the communications and event.
What are these names? Safe in Our World.
That's right.
Like how could you argue with that?
It's like
Build Back Better, right? It sounds fantastic.
Are you saying you hate safety in the world, Dean? Is that what you're saying, bigot?
I'm saying they are oxymorons.
Yes, they do the language in intentionally like that because of that, because they can only make childish arguments. They can't actually argue in substance.
You guys are all pro-fascism because I'm Antifa.
Exactly.
Get it? Holy shit. Dude.
So this is the communications and event manager for Safe in Our World. They also have a connection to, so this is a filmmaker, but so this is Aesthetica. They were featured there. Aesthetica is a BAFTA qualifying film festival. And don't worry, we're going to keep going around the circle here. While we're here, we're thrilled to be partnering with Out Making Games, BAFTA Games. And, we already know where that leads to. Safe in Our World is also the charity partner for OMG. So that's how that circle connects. You see now where I'm going with this. I'm sure this individual had quite the feature.
I don't like to make fun of people's appearances, but I saw Scott Adams call that MSNBC eyes.
Yep. Another connection to Safe in Our World is this individual down here. So this is a Safe in Our World ambassador. Ooh, very cool. But this guy is actually a writer. I can see my 9 out of 10. It's the first time my score has featured in a trailer, and I couldn't be happier for the Silent Hill 2 remake. That's how I found him. So that was an accidental tie-in. So this is a Safe in Our World dude who has his stuff shilling for Silent Hill 2. Very cool.
Talking Dave said in the chat, just have Dean spin the earth backwards until Sweet Baby Incorporated doesn't exist.
Excuse me.
Please, sir, please do us a favor.
All right, so take us home, Sav. What do we got? Or is there more to go?
Oh, there's still a bit more, but this is to get all of that out of the way, to get some of these connections out of the way. Now we're going to do, I'm sorry. There's so much. I tried to write all this down, but I realized I couldn't even make a script for this. The other thing I want to point out here for OMG. So on the OMG board, these are the individuals, right? So we have the lead player programmer at Rocksteady Studios. We have, here's our buddy James Dodd, who actually lists out his stuff here for once. Then we have another individual at Rocksteady Studios. And would you look at that? Would you come up here? Rocksteady Studios renews their silver monetary pledge back in 2023. I wonder why they did that. You guys just wonder why Rocksteady would give money to this group? I couldn't figure it out at all. This is also another post that they put out just to show kind of where some influence might be coming from. Gender and language in video games. They basically just talk about the use of not needing to say what, or they basically say why male and female is bad.
These are important issues, guys, that need to be discussed all the time, constantly, forever, because video games, right? Hey,
pay somebody.
Dean, when you grew up, when you're growing up and you like popped the quarter in Pac-Man, did you ever feel like you're a bigot because you didn't choose Miss Pac-Man?
Well, of course. I mean, it was obvious. I should have chosen Miss Pac-Man right away. It just doesn't make any sense to my brain. I mean, trying to teach a child this, raising a kid and trying to teach them this stuff is insanity to me. It just doesn't make any sense at all. I have a friend, and they were telling me a few years back, I'm like, how you doing? Things good? And I started a DEI company. And I was like, a what? A DEI company. I was like, what is that? And now I know what it is. It's this.
Are they filthy rich?
I haven't spoken to them since, but I nice person. I just don't understand. I don't get it. You're not all victims. Come on.
Just out of curiosity, was that person white?
Ish.
Okay. Okay. Just curious.
Well, yes, at sight, you would say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently a different,
Yeah, right. I hear that. Okay.
They two-spirit with pronouns and all the accoutrement.
It could be.
Let's keep it going, Sav.
So now we're gonna wrap it
Yeah,
up.
please.
and
Another 4 hours, please.
This map was bigger. I actually do have to break them down to make them digestible for people. But this is the bread and butter right here. So this is what we're now going to focus on. I wanted to get everybody else out of the way. So what in the hell is Uki? Uki is a mess. So Uki is the voice
company.
Yes.
So
this is the company that your buddy started, Dean. Congratulations.
Oh no, this isn't just a company. This isn't just a company. This is the meat and potatoes of why everything's connected to it. So this is the voice of UK games industry. Our story, our beliefs, and our people. We're here to help grow the UK's interactive entertainment sector and shout out all the hard work, the amazing people, innovative businesses, and cutting-edge games that make up our thriving gaming industry. We're here to give our members the support and services that they need to grow their business. The Uki team is here to help you. We provide advice and support for your business, discounts on essential business services, as well as dedicated training and workshops, a games industry service directory, and countless networking opportunities. This line is so important. Keep in mind, these are the people who made the Raise the Game hashtag pledge, which is what we were talking about before with James Dodd on his quote on that website and how he's on this board and also OMGs. Mm-hmm. This line right here explains everything. So, Uki, policy and public affairs, your voice in government and with policymakers throughout the UK. Uki is the lead voice on the big policy issues facing the UK games industry. We gather our members' opinions and represent their views in a series of policy papers, and we consult widely outside our membership when we need to. We make all our consultation responses available for anyone who wants to read.
So these people are actually making policies inside in the UK.
Yes.
And
this is a government board.
Okay.
Yes, that's what's freaky. So celebrating the success of video games in the UK at wherever they are, the new video game expenditure credit and the spring budget, what you need to know because they actually are part of that discussion. Uki responds to HM Treasury consultation on audiovisual tax reliefs, Department of Digital Culture, Media and Sports publishes response data, and then the APPG for video games and esports holds its first in-person blah, blah, blah. So on their, this is what I was talking about with the Raise the Game. Uki administers the Raise the Game pledge, which aims to get game businesses of all sizes to pledge to improve diversity through diverse recruiting practices, building inclusive working environments, and representing voices in their games. The pledge aims to cover over half the industry workforce by the end of 2021. And if we come down here, Department for International Trade. Uki is the executive DIT accredited trade body for games in the UK. DIT offers a series of resources to support your trade activities. And they also have a connection to the Great Campaign, flying the flag for the UK. The Great Britain Campaign is a government-funded multi-million-pound international marketing campaign which showcases the very best of what Britain has to offer in the creative industries. It is designed to encourage people to do business in the UK. Uki secures the game's images, which are featured as part of the campaign.
So this is go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead, Saf.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say these are some other usual suspects who I'm actually in the process of also writing about that they are connected to. Limit Break has popped up quite a few times. Please keep women in games in your mind here. Now, if we come over here, I've screenshotted only some of their partners, some of the people who have signed with them, some of the people who work with them, right? So Safe
How
in
is
Our
this
World,
real?
Nintendo UK. That we're going to come back to these two in a second. We've got Riot Games, Bandai Namco, Sega. We've got High Res, which just had a bunch of layoffs. We've got some other big names up here: Microsoft, Nintendo, Square Enix, Konami, Sony, Ubisoft. If you notice, there is a bit of a pattern. They have about 14 or 15 pages worth of these. EA is there as well. But these all cross over to the Raise the Game pledge. Now, obviously, it is strategic for these companies to have a partnership with them, given the fact that they're tying to literally policy and trade. So it's almost mandatory if you want to do business. Now, this is where the fun connection starts. This is the International Games Developers Association, and this is Women in Games. This connects all the way over here. So this is the IGDA, which is just, again, another global resource group for developers that serves DEI purposes. And of course, they've got their big names here: Xsolla, GameBeat, Stride, Netflix Games, which actually just shut down. To my knowledge, all they were working on were mobile games. To my knowledge, I had a couple people that I knew who worked there, and all they did was mobile games. But they've since shut down. Riot, Xbox, blah, blah, blah. Now, why is this important? You're probably thinking, Savvy, this is crazy. Well, this is Jay Powell, and he is a board member of the IGDA. Jay Powell is the owner of the Powell Group, which is who SBI just signed with.
There it is right there. Okay, so Sweet Baby Inc. just signed a deal with this Powell Group right here. So go ahead, Seth.
Just to break down the connections that I said to keep in mind. So upon the Powell Group's board, upon their employment area, safe and inclusive communities, by the way, we have Charlie here, who is the Twitch manager for Women in Games, which we saw is on the Uki board thing. Even though they are a small group, they still somehow have connection to Uki as well. But if we also come over here, not only do we have the IGDA, the normal one, so there's two parts of it. There's the IGDA and then the IGDA Foundation. So Jay Powell is on the board for the IGDA, but someone who works for him is a board member of the IGDA Foundation. So the connection goes full circle. By having multiple connections and being tied to Uki, he can now get the Powell Group, which is a conglomerate of consultants now. They have consultants to consult with things, and then for the things that they can't consult on, they brought on more consultants to consult on the other things, because they want to be a one-stop shop for consulting, for selling development, for selling the partnerships with publishers, blah, blah, blah. They're pushing really hard for a book and some other services. They've got classes, all this stuff, right? Like, it looks like a grift. It's like remember when Andrew Tate sold his classes? This is what this is, but I feel like it's less effective than that. So these social connections help show us how these individuals can be connected. So the DEI guy for Uki would have direct connections to this guy, Jay Powell, because he wants to be DEI heavy. And between the two of them and everything that they do, they can put whoever they want in whatever company that plays ball, that's chasing ESG.
Right.
It is deep. You think about this stuff, and then you look at the deep state sort of people within even the U.S. government. And you know how deep you have to dig for all this ridiculousness. It reminds me of two things. One, the fall of Rome.
Right.
And two, a great movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger where a kid gives a great piece of advice. He says, boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
You know, I'm really glad that you brought up deep state, because this now lets me go into the bonus meme. I'm really happy about this, actually. So another individual, if you
unlocked 3 more hours of content. Dude.
That's right. Congratulations.
Bonus meme, that beautiful transition.
Bonus.
Another person who was promoting the Code Coven was this Lauren K individual. If you're someone that has always wanted to make a difference in someone's life, take this moment, donate something, anything to Code Coven, who are one of the leading organizations dedicated to making future diverse games developed, survive, and thrive. So who is this person, I wonder, right? Well, this person does voices. Hey, me too. She's part of She Plays Games, which is another woman-based organization that does absolutely nothing other than patting people on the back about DEI. But if we come up here, she plays games, retweeted Dr. Rachel Cowart, which is my personal favorite grifting sociologist. This individual, of course, as you all know, worked with or still does work for Take This org. She was put on my radar simply because she referenced the Kotaku article talking about Gamergate 2 and how that started. And as you all know, but here's my favorite thing to talk about, Dr. Rachel Cowart received $669,000 from DHS for the wonderful topic of extreme right-wing extremism in video games and terrorist recruitment, who then partnered with Logically AI, a British-born fact-checking company that actually had a hand in the 2020 elections, is partnered with Meta. They were the ones who actually suppressed all of the information during COVID, much to Zuckerberg trying to brand himself as a victim. He actually signed on to all of this willingly. Logically AI, of course, works with left-leaning governments to fact-check things that they deem misinformation based off of information that has been collected and approved of by government.
This whole thing, Sav, is both illuminating and mind-numbing along the way.
Logically AI also directly connects to Elon Musk because the president of Logically AI was part of the governance board that had to get quickly shut down because they were too vague in their language. But that was formed days after Elon Musk bought Twitter.
Of course.
Can I say two things about this? So, Savvy, first of all, amazing research. It's very hard to get through, but my goodness, I appreciate you exposing these people. We got to ask her, this is what you have in front of us is the what, but you have to ask yourself now, why this much money, power, control, threatening, and all this? Because entertainment and story is proven through scientific research. I know the CIA has known about this since the 50s, at least some of the research I've seen. Entertainment, movies, books, comic books, music is the most potent form of mind control, of persuasion. If we have great actors, great writers, great artists, illustrators, whatever the art is, making great quality art, you will subconsciously believe the message. And then we can get you to vote for anything. And that's why they want to control this. My second point is, Dean, you're an artist as an actor. I'm an artist as an illustrator and writer. This offends me to my core as an artist. And anyone that knows me personally knows I'm not a snob about being an artist. But art is about years, decades of hard work to gain the skills we have. And these people don't have any skills. They can't write, they can't act, sing, dance, draw, but they want to be in there calling the shots. Fuck you. Get out of our art form. You don't belong here. Bunch of creeps. Does it offend you as an artist, Dean? Because this is so offensive. These people have no right to be in this art form.
I agree with you, but I just like the way you put it. I agree with you, and I don't think I could put it quite as strongly. But yeah, they're not creators. They're just standing there trying to hold the puppet strings. It is deep state. It's ridiculous. It's shocking that even on at this level for making entertainment, if you will, games, which I play Call of Duty quite often. I enjoy that. That's fun for me. It's mindless, and I don't have to worry about anything for about a half hour, an hour. I don't get it. It's shocking. They don't do anything. They literally don't do anything except for give this Gabe character some trans scars and make him a woman or whatever it is. I mean, that's shocking to my brain that this even exists. It sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, it's really frustrating because once you start really looking into this and see all the ways that different companies have been able to bully artists over the years, the first time that I personally came across it was years ago when I was looking into publishing, and somebody said, "Oh, if you want to publish with us, you have to run it through a sensitivity reader." I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" And so I hate localizers because I'm very much so a purist. When I watch content from another country, I want to experience that other country. And so I never healed when they made changes to Pokemon. We always joke about the jelly donut, but it was a rice ball that they called a jelly donut that was clearly a freaking rice ball. So I thought that was the worst that the industry had to offer. But then I discovered the sensitivity readers and that people actually get paid to filter out mean and nasty words or change elements of a story that could be problematic. I'm sorry, there's no such thing as problematic fiction.
I finished the script for Dean Cain All-American Lawman Volume 2 like 3 days ago, 120 pages. And the only readers I have for it are Dean and my wife and the illustrator Akion. That's it. Just read over this. Tell me you like it. Makes sense. I make any glaring plot holes and have some DEI clown tell me that it needs to be more sensitive or something. Get out of here. Jeez.
Well, Sav, we appreciate the deep dive. Is there more? Did I miss anything?
Oh, no.
For today, that's it. This was just to show the social circles and the impact of what the UK has, because the reason why too that this is so important is because video games from the ground level are being censored around the world. It is more beneficial for Japan to be able to just release one single version of a game than make multiple for regional releases. That's why you see that going away. It's not because they want to. It's because it's just more advantageous to spend less time on the work and just be able to sell it everywhere. So these people are controlling what is being censored globally, essentially. The more regulation that the UK puts on fiction, the worse that this is going to get. And that's why it's so important for America to get rid of the regulations on fiction. We need to change the ESRB or get rid of it. We need to stop the payment processors from censoring everybody and making weird censorship requests just because people want to buy fiction from Japan. That's so stupid. We need to get rid of the idea of allowing people to be empowered to say that there is a problem in fiction. If you don't like the fiction, just don't consume it. The market is big enough for everyone. And then, once we make shame great again, these groups will go away. And unfortunately, like I always say, just because one studio shuts down or just because one game fails doesn't mean anything. We have to remove the incentives from government. Uki is a branch of the government. They are promoting DEI. They are making companies sign pledges. This is insane. This is madness. Stop it. I just want to draw my dirty anime pictures. I don't want to do this.
It's incestuous. It's an incestuous grift.
Well, Savvy, thank you very much for your autistic research. And
Can I see your dirty anime pics?
You want some dirty anime pictures?
Yeah, I mean, why can't I? I'm just saying.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll DM you. That's
I
fine.
have a feeling nothing would give more pleasure to Savvy than providing Dean Cain some dirty anime pics.
Dude, I get to tell. All right, I'm going to have my one unprofessional moment. My husband thinks that this is the coolest thing that I've ever done and will do because he loves you so much. He's like, you get to be on with Superman. That's so cool.
Hey, go get your husband real quick. I just want to see him nerd out. Okay. Let's go. Just for fun. Hey, and while we do that, Blabs, why don't you read off some super chats for Dean and Gabe?
Yeah, okay.
Dean, you should go off camera and we'll just say you had to leave. Just to disappoint
He would die. That's so sad. All right.
He left right before you got here.
This one's for Dean. It says, I'm still a little salty at Dean because Terry Hatcher on Lois and Clark was one of my earliest crushes. What was it like with Denzel on Out of Time?
Of course, the first one is Terry Hatcher, very good actress, best Lois Lane of all time. And just for him, what was his name? Josh?
It was John.
John. Just so you know, John, she's a fantastic kisser.
Mm.
And then, just put that in your hopper. And then working with Denzel Washington in Out of Time was amazing. My favorite actor, and he had just won Best Actor. It's like playing tennis with somebody who's better than you. Your game improves, and amazing. So that was an absolute, dream come true. So phenomenal experiences on both.
Nice. All right. Another John says, Dean, could you take Henry? Oh, hang on. No, we have to do this.
No.
Yes.
Let's have a very sensual moment real quick. Hold on.
I just was.
Give him the smolder.
Wait. I gotta get out of here.
Hey, man.
What's going on?
Loved the show.
Appreciate that tremendously.
Yeah, I've been a huge fan for years, so I told her when she told me, it's like, there's no freaking way.
I love that.
Lewis and Clark.
After watching her research deep dive, you can't do anything wrong.
Yeah, I know.
And
I know.
Don't even try.
Dude, I try not to. I try to be all right.
That's awesome. She did a great job with that. That was mind numbing. It was too. But where'd he go?
He's there somewhere.
Craig keeps moving everyone backstage.
Stop, Labs.
There we go.
There.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She's a really good researcher, and she's put a lot of hard work into this. So I'm proud what she does.
Expose that to the powers that be over here. Well, in 90 days or something.
That's right.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I keep seeing it more and more in video games, and it's like, I play video games to escape this kind of stuff from the real world, and now I have to deal with political stuff and like my favorite games or games I'm excited to play that are upcoming, and it's just
He's a normie. So he's my
Well-
view to the normal world.
That's great.
You keep me grounded, you do.
Goes
All
back to
right,
that Andrew
that's
Breitbart.
true. All right, I'll give it back, Jared.
Oh,
Superman.
I was going to say,
Let's
back
go.
to the Andrew Breitbart comment, which he says, and we talk about this all the time. Politics are downstream from culture.
Right.
That's
right.
great.
Gene, in that Dragon Age game that's coming out and failing because they woke it up, I saw a video, like a 2 or 3 minute cutscene where one character is lecturing her parents about being non-binary. In a game where you're supposed to like kill dragons and wizards and knights and all fantasy, it's like actually it doesn't feel like a man or a woman and blah 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 blah. And it's like,
Do you know what? So what's funny about that scene is they actually have a word in their race that specifically means neither gender, and she rejects it. And her mother is the most level-headed individual who's trying to ask questions. And the only response from the character is, "Why can't you just be happy for me?" So
Yeah.
even in a controlled environment, they still make themselves look like insufferable assholes.
Just to kind of push this home one last time, I do want to, I want to play this clip from Dragon Age Veilguard just to see Dean totally melt down and have his brain totally
the
break.
chart didn't kill him.
No. So let's just play this 2-minute clip here, Dean. I want to play it verbatim, then I want to get your reaction to this.
Pounding that snake's nose. She's still holding the ruby in her other hand. Maker's panties. I was so proud.
Oh,
Ah, shit. They're still holding it. Sorry.
what are you doing?
Pulling a barb.
Oh, okay. A barb?
Tradition in the Lords of Fortune from one of our old members, Barv. Good guy, but like most of us, his plans went sideways a lot. Bad blood among your crew's not good for morale, but there's not always time for big, drawn-out apologies. So when one of us screws up and we know we've screwed up, we do a quick 10 to put it right. Pulling a Barv.
Because they didn't say they.
That's right, because they didn't say they instead of she. So you have to have physical punishment along the way. Let's go to continue here.
I'm glad the Lords of Fortune have Tarsh's back.
Oh, Tarsh isn't the first non-binary member of the Lords.
Really?
It was a little before your time, but Horlicks was one of ours. Huh. Bastard looked better than I did in a dress or pants. And out of them, too.
Any reason you can't just apologize?
Sometimes people say, oops, sorry, and hope that fixes it. But they just want to get the whole thing over with. Trust me, I know. But pulling a bath, you sweat a little. Makes you think about it a little more. Shows the other person you mean it.
What if they mean it when they say they're sorry, though?
And that's the other reason. Some people mess up and get all dramatic. They make it about them. Oh, I didn't mean it right. I'd never do that on purpose. They feel so bad about it that it's on everyone else to smooth it over and make them feel better.
Oh, okay. Yes, some people might do that.
Pulling a barb puts it on the person who screwed up. They made the mess, they fix it, done.
I can't imagine why this isn't selling.
Hold on, I gotta pull a bar real quick.
Make sure you pull a barb along the way.
Do 3 push-ups and then claim you did 10, just like she did.
Just like that. Oh my God.
Hundreds of millions spent to make this, by the way, Dean. Hundreds of millions spent on this project.
Drop and give me 10. Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Pulling a barf. My head has exploded. What is it about? What is it about? I don't know what this is.
It's about making sure you do things the right way. And that if you don't do things the right way, then you're out. That's what it's about.
Han Solo in the day would laugh his ass off at this as the 80s thing, Gabe. He would laugh his ass off at it because it's the funniest, most ridiculous thing ever. He would say something. What would Han Solo say to that?
He would just totally clown him. He'd have that beautiful, huge Harrison Ford smile and just tell them they were losers and just keep
He'd say he
moving
left
his
the
life.
bar in the bathroom.
Maybe give him what he gave Greedo, the shot under the table.
Yeah, that could be his answer.
And Dean, just for giggles, I just wanted to kind of point out, this is the game director of Dragon Age, the Veilguard. in 2021 from 2020. So
his life.
It's all making sense now, isn't it?
Their life. God dang it.
You should pull up the writer as well, and then who they hired as a consultant.
Ooh.
It just keeps going down the line.
Yes, 100%.
Wow.
All right. So now that we've totally depressed everybody, and
Look at that. You
Dean,
said him so much. He's gone.
he's out. Well, let's get to some super chats for Dean and Gabe, and when Dean gets back in, we'll get those. But if we have, we do have this one from Crisis on Infinite Girths with the 10. Says just some normal innocent support for some normal innocent men. Gabe might need to explain that username, the username reference. Hail the lawman. If that dude fired the RPG at that range, he'd most likely get caught in the blast radius, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is true. It's too close.
Do you understand that reference? Crisis on Infinite Girths. That's a reference?
A famous 1980s miniseries at DC Comics, illustrated by the great George Perez, was Crisis on Infinite Earths, and it kind of reset all the confusing different timelines of DC Comics. Famously, the Flash died to save everything, and it's a real classic of DC Comics. Crisis on Infinite Earths. So
right,
that's Crisis on Infinite Girth. Sounds like something else I don't want to know about.
All right, Blaz, let's get some supers for Gabe and Dean.
Okay, Miner says Superman, so I had to share that one. John says, Dean, could you take Henry Cavill in a fight?
Is there money involved?
I mean, there seems $10.
Yeah, we'll put up we'll put up $7. That's our split after the YouTube.
Henry's a really good dude. I wouldn't want to fight him, but I think he's probably more principled as a fighter than I am.
Is there like some
bro code?
Yeah, some sort of like Superman group. Like once you're, I don't
Is
know,
there a group chat, like a group chat?
is there like,
Let
hey,
me say this: the fact that you don't know says it all.
Ooh.
I can't be the first person who's asked that along the way.
No,
right?
we all sort of talk to each other. It's cool. We were all together in Rhode Island at a Comic-Con. That was a lot of fun.
Oh my God, all the Supermans. That'd be cool.
It was cool. It was fun. And they were all fun. And everybody's funny, Tom Welling is hysterical and friendly and great. And Brandon Routh is also the nicest guy on the planet. And Tyler Heckman is just phenomenal. They're just a bunch of good folks. So they're super, to borrow a word.
Hey.
All right. Mandraco says, question for Dean Cain. Do you remember doing voice work for a game called Grandia Extreme? Any recollection of what had happened there?
I was a big game. I love video games. So way back in the day, I did do a voice, and it was a long thing, and it was a Japanese sort of version of a multimedia online game. Grandia Extreme. It was great fun. I don't know what happened to I was hoping it would blow up and be a big giant thing, but I don't know what happened to it. It was around for a little bit, and then poof. I don't think there was enough DEI in it, and that group, Sev, whatever that group, one of those 900 groups torpedoed it, I guess. I don't know.
Morgan for 10 says, I'm a cinematographer and camera operator in New Mexico and worked with Dean a couple of years ago in a film in Southern NM and had a blast talking guns with him between takes. What a great guy.
Wow.
Cheers, Morgan. Appreciate that. That was a lot of fun. New Mexico is a beautiful country out there, that's for sure. Don't believe everything in Breaking Bad.
Joe's guy says, good day, normal men. Dean Cain is best soups, FYI.
Very smart person.
Hey, look, Dean Cain updates. And just Dean's Superman gun is amazing.
I got a beautiful Desert Eagle 50 cal, which is the most powerful handgun on earth.
Got a Deagle, man. That's good.
It's beautiful. And they did a really great job. Coated Arms did a great job on the web. It's so cool. It's a piece of art.
Oh, that reminds me. I got to talk to you. A gun manufacturer, a local one here, called me, and they were thinking of maybe doing Dean Cain All American Lawman like designed guns, gun accessories when we launch Volume 2.
Do you guys, just out of curiosity, are you guys familiar with Staccato?
Yes.
I'm not.
You're not? Dean, do you like the Staccato?
Well, yeah. It's sort of the Ferrari, or if you will, of handguns. And I've never fired one, but I'm willing.
If you want an introduction, let me know. Okay.
You know that I do.
Okay, sounds good. All right, well, what else we got, Blabs?
DB says, how much for Dean Cain to do the ass Starfield rant? All you gotta do, Dean, is look into the camera and yell, fucking pronouns, okay? Ready? Go.
Fucking pronouns.
There you go.
There you go.
I didn't know how to make a choice. I didn't know if it was a happy thing or a bad thing.
You just had to yell. That's it.
Yeah,
Dean Cain's update sent a super sticker. Thank you very much. Okay, let me scroll to the newer one.
What's it like having a YouTube channel that just updates things about you, Dean?
Yeah, that's wild.
That's cool. All right, I should watch it.
Cool.
It's
Nice.
true.
A lot towards the bottoms are all about Savvy.
Okay,
So we
cool.
have and we have this one from, I always see your name wrong. I am so sorry. I think it's Eleni. That interaction with Dean and Savvy's husband was so wholesome and cute. He's just a normal, innocent man.
That's right. That's what we do here. We have normal, innocent men on this show. All right, is that it?
There was actually one question for everyone, including Savvy. So let me just bring this one up. Chris says, are you guys excited for Universal Epic Universe? If so, what land are you most excited for? Please pass this on to Savvy when or if she comes. So she's here.
Gabe, Dean, have you heard about this Epic Universe?
Yes, I am super excited. I love Disneyland. I don't love the Disney woke shit. But, you know, as an artist and a creator, I always did model airplanes and dioramas growing up. So I just love Disneyland. And I saw what they're building down there in Florida with the Mario World and all that. I want to ride the Donkey Kong kart ride so bad. It jumps over broken tracks just like the video games. I don't know. There's something about theme parks. I absolutely love theme parks. So I'm very excited about it.
Very excited to see it as well.
Yeah.
I got one more. Don't you dare interrupt, Craig. All right,
Yes,
Dean
ma'am.
Cain update says, I used to play Mario Galaxy when I was little, and it was the best game of my childhood, along with Animal Crossing. And hi, Dean.
Hey.
Dean updates to Dean. I love that.
Before we say goodbye to Dean and Gabe, I do have one real quick. Delta says, Craig, have you seen Zachary Levi, the actor who plays the man-child hero Shazam, is going MAGA on Twitter? We're ramping to an exciting year of twists and turns. Dean, do you think that you're going to see in your industry more people come out and be vocal about what's going on in a positive light? Obviously, Hollywood as a whole is there's a lot of brain rot in it, and it's one big club and whatever. But I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think 100% that you're going to start hearing some real common sense words from people like Zachary Levi, who's a very smart guy, and I like him, and a really nice guy, and he is speaking some truth. It's becoming, it's the idea of like being able to wear a Trump hat. Like if you wore a Kamala Harris hat, I'm not going to beat you in the coffee shop, and I'm not going to scream at you that you're a Nazi and that sort of thing. Like wearing a Trump hat or a Make America Great Again hat. That thing, people have lost their mind. But the fact that the election went the way that it went, the fact that all these people are crossing over, RFK Jr., Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, it makes it a different world, and it makes it okay to go ahead and express your opinion, even if your opinion isn't the same as all the other sheeple running around, doing that. So I think that Zachary and guys stepping out, Chris Pratt thanking God, Denzel Washington thanking God, all the NFL players, what they don't ever show is like, before an NFL game, you'll see 50 players in the end zone take a knee and pray before the game and after the game. When Damar Hamlin for the Buffalo Bills got hit in the chest and his heart stopped and he basically died on the field, everybody got together, all the players sat down and they prayed. So these sort of values and these sort of things are things that have been scoffed at for a long time, but I think people have had enough, and some common sense has returned to the White House, and hopefully it's going to return to our business. And everything woke turns to shit.
Right.
There you go. All right, let's give you guys an
I
opportunity.
got two more to go. They just popped in. Snake fan says, Dean, what's more deadly, kryptonite or DEI?
Ooh.
Flip those two E and I, DIE. Says it all. That is that is kryptonite. It's kryptonite to any functioning society.
And then the last one is Dean Cain updates. Maybe can I have a shout out from Dean?
Absolutely. Dean Cain updates. I see them. They're good. I learned things about myself checking into their stuff. That's it. And they gave euros. I dig it. I've had a home there for 23 years now, over in Spain, which Gabe is going to visit at some point.
That's right. My wife just asked me about that. It's like, when are we going to Dean's in Spain? And I'm like, let me sell some more of these comics and then we'll go. All right.
Hey, speaking of Gabe, why don't you give her? Oh, I'm sorry, Dean. Go ahead.
I said I've spoken to your wife a number of times, Gabe. She doesn't speak like that.
Oh, that's true. She's actually very pleasant.
It's a voice that everybody uses for their spouse. Why are you going over here?
Why are you doing that? Why
Well,
are you
I saw a
doing
comedian say that all wives say men sound like this, and all men say women sound like.
It was funny because my son's girlfriend was saying that, I asked Chris for this and he said, I was like, yep, that's perfect. That's it.
Yeah.
All right, Gabe. Hey, why don't you get everybody a rundown where they can pick up Dean?
Can you share my screen, please? And first of all, Savvy and Blabs and Craig, thank you so much for having us. It was that was insane, that rabbit hole. Guys, you only have until November 30th to get this amazing, very funny, very playful variant cover of Dean Cain, All-American Lawman. Just like 2.5 more weeks to get this thing, then it's gone. It goes into the vault. Maybe I'll sell more of them next Christmas. I might have some in July at San Diego Comic-Con, but you only have a limited amount of time to get this. All orders, domestic orders, by November 30th. They will arrive before Christmas. So that's one less gift you have to worry about for the action lover that that wants that 80s and 90s lethal weapon style action. And maybe that action lover is you. You get it for yourself. It is a premium product. This was more expensive. If it's too rich for your blood, we have the regular versions of the book too on the website. Just a couple left of those. We have a couple of the signed ones left, again, by November 30th, and you will get it before Christmas. And coming soon, The Unstoppable Tyrus in 2025. I'm drawing that one. I write all these. This is like Goonies here. This is done now. It's 120 pages. We just got to finish coloring it and lettering it. It's pretty much done. It's like a love letter to Star Wars. Thank you guys for the support and making Big Man Comics amazing. And I just finished the script for this like 3 days ago. I sent it to you, Dean. I need your notes.
Yes, sir.
This is really fun. The second volume of Dean Cain, All-American Lawman. Gonna be a blast. So thank you guys.
That looked like fun to me right there.
And guys, just so you know, in our book, the person in the skirt in front of Dean, that's actually a woman. There's no surprise. No surprise in there.
It's not a trap.
Yeah,
And that sword is not a phallic symbol or anything like that.
Right.
It's a surprise.
That's actually a real girl. So yeah, so run over to Big Man Comics today and we'll get you something great for Christmas. And follow me on YouTube. I'm almost at 10,000. So please go follow me on YouTube. We have a lot of fun on my YouTube channel.
All the links are down below, guys. You're muted, Craig.
I know. Sorry. I was just talking to myself. All right, great stuff as always. Gabe, excellent. Dean, thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate you guys.
Pleasure.
Savvy, you want to stick for a little bit longer?
Yeah, I can if you want me around.
Of course, we always want you around, Savvy.
Why does Johnny Depp always say your name? Savvy?
Savvy.
Because I'm just that famous, I guess.
Yes, exactly. Well, we appreciate coming on. Thank you, Craig.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Savvy.
All right.
See you guys later. Have a great day.
Thanks,
okay.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Alrighty.
Bye.
All right, there's Gabe and Dean from Big Man Comics. Make sure you guys go and go check them out over there. Pick up a comic for Christmas. Great stuff over there, and we got to support independent creators like Gabe and Dean over at Big Man Comics. Great stuff over there. All right, let's get to some super chats. Lots around Savvy. Great job today. What do we got, Blabs? Fire away.
All right, John says MGS 3 anniversary is next week. You've been warned, Blabs.
That's true. You don't want to miss
Fight
that
me.
one.
Kyle says, I'll never forget when I saw Mario Galaxy at E3 2006 when I was 11 years old. Mario Galaxy and Mario Bros. 3 are my all-time favorite Super Mario games. Thank you very much. John says, my jar of peanut butter contains ground-up squirrels.
Oh, shit, John. Probably want to get that checked out.
Ew. Dwight says, I've only just bothered to upgrade to PlayStation 5 this week, and the only reason is because my PS4 is starting to fail. May as well buy the newer model to play my PS4 games on, but won't be buying much new slop. Well, that makes sense to do so. Josh says, the word but what the hell does it even say? Butteracious? Butteracious means buttery or like butter. Thanks, Josh. Just had a stroke reading that.
Nutritious.
Is it though? I thought because it was about butter, so buttery.
Yeah, but butracious.
What a word.
I'm
anyway,
assuming.
Jacob says, Garin Thumb pointed out that you can own a 40mm GL, I'm guessing Glock, only with chalk rounds. However, the tests he did show that even those hit hard. Thank you. Ben says, my family rented the New Adventures of Superman on Netflix when I was a kid. I'm sorry I missed this, Ben. I'm really sorry. Robot says, the last member of Outcast. Stay-at-home Hippo says, hi there, straight man here. Like the 2016 election, so many people spouting nonsense, simply not acknowledging the facts or knowing how our government works with checks and balances, and just crying. Mercenary says, there's a ton of hand-holding between the ladies. Thank you. John says, the next Austin was going to be called Glyn or Glinda. Is it? I thought it was just Wicked Part 2. All right. Charles Anderson says, why do we keep getting stories like Wicked? Do people really believe that understanding why someone does something evil makes that action okay? I mean, to be fair, this story has existed for like almost 20 years, so it's not something new. Robo says, Ho's mad?
Hoes are mad.
Ho's mad? Like the
Hoes
song.
Mad. Hoes mad.
Ho's mad? Memories of Frem says, everyone on the panel is being mean to Dragon Age. Pull the bar right now. No. Mercenary says, as Trump said, you are fake news. Robot says, or Boat, I should say, grew up in a middle-class home. My dad sharpened colored pencils for a living, and my mom decorates trees. Kamala Harris, probably.
Thanks, Rob.
New York Giants fan says, unpopular opinion, but I always like the Christmas shoes. Also, Snoopy and in the Red Baron Christmas song, the Red Baron Christmas song. Thank you very much. Edwin says, some just want to watch the world burn for money first. People, it's all about number one. End justifies the means. It's wrong, but that's how they operate. Thank you very much. Mark Riati says, hey now, some of us have been Chiefs fans long before they started winning Super Bowls on the regular. That was an epic win against the Broncos, 9-0. And our home dog, Flawed, became a YouTube member. Flawed's going to be on in a couple of weeks. And then he gifted 5 memberships. Shout out, Flawed. Thank you very much. Gazalorine says, Code Coven, yeah, a bunch of witches, sounds right. Radial says, no, I bank with Barclays, fucking UK. DB says, hashtag protect Savvy. She's like the question in DC Comics. Master Gawa says, Honey Badger Arcade had on gaming social centrist Aiden Paladin. She'd be a great guest. Savvy is known for her burnt meat curtains, which, by the way, I know what that means now. Thanks, Savvy. And her cooking. When she cooks, everything burns. Burn it all down, madam. Anyway, better move on. Elite Neo says, getting serious. Pepe Sylvia vibes from all this. Or maybe Pepe Savia. Market Reality says, these DEI corps are a bunch of pathetic groomers, and they want to get near people's kids through video games. They need to be in jail. I've been a criminal attorney for 17 plus years now, and yes, I'm judgy. Stay-at-home Hippo says, hello again, still a straight man. Well, DEI is such an important topic in Western governments to the point where a lot of their countries are being ruined with crime and immigration. Thoughts? That's a rabbit hole. But,
it's all connected.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
It's all intentional, by the way.
Miku says, send this letter to Lotus Eaters, Sargon of Akkad, ASAP.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely send them the Blabs. Once we get that live, I'll do my best to put it in front of them.
Bonus says, ahoy, side scrollers, take my Mexican pesos and please invite Fleekasoid to the show. He's an expert in budget cuts made for the modern audience.
Thanks, Bonus. I think you reckon
I love him. He's so funny.
Lady Gamerloon says, Savvy making 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon look amateur. The Grateful Gamer says, Savvy the Savage must be protected at all costs. Savvy has a throne now, guys. Just saying. Radial Drago says, this is the UK revenge for the world rejecting our colonization. Damn it. Mercenary says, these evil people want to control at all costs. Mastagawa says, for a quarter, Miss Pac-Man gobbled balls till she died. Gotta support that. Hail my Super Saiyan brothers for Vivian James. Hashtag make shame great again. What a sentence. Jamie Ray says, the PC movement in the 90s was just as invasive as the DEI movement. We just didn't have a savvy to expose it all. Kalichi gifted 1 membership. Thank you very much. Savvy, any updates on Jacob Geller?
He's the guy, I think, who the blooper team hired on for a consultant agency. There's no updates. I mean, they don't put out DEI as hard as some of these other groups. Also, we might have judged blooper too hard. I was unaware of the cut of their jib, but they did a thing that they did then patch out. You could see some details on the nurses, some very interesting details that would have had to be intentionally colored into the textures. So,
okay,
hats off to them.
Tomas says, whose CRPG is this? That's an action game. Whose action game is this? It's BioWare's. Who's BioWare? BioWare's dead, baby. BioWare's dead. Cheers, soups. And then Travis says, kiss my ass. Chief cheated, member for 15 months. And over on Rumble, Random Nobody for 20 says, if I make unsolicited recommendation, please have Ray, the CEO of BitChute, on. He has a BitChute channel called Ray and recently did a video about why he moved BitChute from the UK to the US. Thank you for the 20. Reese says, I own an RPG, holds up a copy of Might and Magic, World of Zine. I think that's how you say it. Thank you. Reese says, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink unless you're Willie Brown. Bronsonite says, accountability is code for woke protection, racket mafia tactics, and coercion. Frost Lord says, Savage should send all this to Cabrutus. That would definitely help him in his DEI hunt. And then Reese Cain for 10 says, I propose a supercut of all of Savvy's deep dives. I feel like that should be a playlist on the channel. And we're all caught up.
All right, except for Woke Millennial came in with a $5 direct donation. Says, good show, guys. I found you guys through my recommendations. Enjoying the show and keep up the great work. Well, thanks. Appreciate that. If you guys are new, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. We'd really appreciate that. Flawed, once again, thanks so much for the memberships. And Kalichi, thank you very much for passing those on. Really appreciate that. 90 Dragoons came in with the $15 direct donation. Says, so a literal cabal of witches use their nonsense to backstab, distract, and exploit their way into influence in the biggest media ecosystem on the planet. Got it. Why is it always witchcraft, a true crime like always? Can't wait for 2025. Thanks, 90 Dragoons. Black Shirt and Jeans says, government folding private companies into their control with heavy-handed regulations, incentives, and ham-fisting morals. Didn't the Italians try that in the 40s? Seems to recall the Germans tried it too. And John Kanji came in with a 5 as well. Thank you very much, John. Appreciate that. Quick note here before we go in the state of video game journalism. This one is a great tweet that was just put out by Kotaku. And Sav, I'm sure you're going to be very interested in checking out this article as soon as we're done streaming. As Kotaku has ranked the Dragon Age Veilguard sex scenes from worst to best.
No thanks.
No? Anybody? No?
Not in front of my banana. No.
What?
My banana. I have my snack on the desk. I need to eat.
You hate bananas.
I do, but they are a good source of nutrients.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Sav. We appreciate your deep dive today, Sav. Great stuff. Tell everybody where they can find you as your channel's doing great.
You can find me at Madam Savvy on X and YouTube. And I will be writing up the details of the deep dive and posting some pictures later. I will at least do my best to do that and to sort it out, because I think that if people can see it too, it's a little bit less intimidating, I guess. We are on our way to somehow 15,000 subscribers on, show off my thumbnails. They're great. I
low effort thumbnail.
Career artist, by the way, 10 years people have been hiring me. But no, nice. I just do live streams. I haven't really put out any videos because I spend all my time making these social maps. These maps are highly condensed to make them digestible for all of you. Yes, this was a condensed map. Yes, my actual maps look much worse.
Well, Sav, if you want to take the clip from today and put it on your channel, you're more than welcome to do that as well.
Oh, bless you.
Yes. Free content. Let's go. All right, let's get out of here, guys. We got a great show for you guys tomorrow. Make sure you guys are here when we're back at it, 11 a.m. Central Time. Glad you guys are here. Who do we have tomorrow, Blabs?
We have Mally Mouse.
Mally Mouse is back at it again. My gosh, the chaos will reign. I'm looking forward to that. With that said, guys, thanks so much for your support. We cannot do this without you guys. Appreciate all your super chats, direct donations, and Rumble rants, memberships, gifted memberships, the whole damn shebang. And of course, support over at sidescrollerspodcast.com. You guys have a great rest of your day. We'll be back at it again when we're rolling in at 11 a.m. Central Time. See you guys tomorrow. And remember, people going to try to keep you down. Damn it, Dean Cain. Don't let them. You guys got to go get it. See you later. Bye-bye.
Fatality.